Bruh.
Hello, welcome in K Scott. Today we are playing some Project Zomboid and potentially, where's my What's my game? My game? Hello? Where's my game, man? Hold on. Hello? Game? There we go. So K Scott says, hello. Hello, K Scott. Laser cat shirts. I love it. So do I. So do I. That picture was actually taken about a year ago by now. Actually, no. Maybe 9 months ago. I think I had known... So, Mandy was the one in the picture. I've known Mandy for like 3 or 4 months at the point that picture was taken. And Mandy's been here for about 10 months, I think. No, I guess it would be like 6 months ago then. Anyways, your VTuber avatar is so expressive. I love it. Thank you, K Scott. Thank you. You can also thank Azur for that. Azur is the one who made my my model. So, yeah. I am generally trying to be a little more expressive in what I do. Just, I don't know. Sometimes I forget you guys can see me. I know it's kind of dumb to say that, but when I started the channel, I was cameraless. So I don't really think about people being able to see me. So I think I need to start acting more like you guys can see me. That way I can be a little more expressive. So, K Scott says, no, that makes sense. I would probably forget too. It's like watching a movie with your friends and then like remembering to be like shocked, you know? It's really hard to remember, especially, yeah. Never mind, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. Sometimes I just look like I just rolled out of bed and I don't have to worry about what I look like, and I think that translates into the VTubing. Anyways, welcome into Grizz. Welcome in. Where's my game? My game might be frozen, actually. I don't know what's happening. So today we're playing a little bit of Project Zomboid. We're gonna do several things. Project Zomboid. I'm gonna try to do it multiplayer. That's the first thing. The second thing, we are gonna have a little bit... Oh! Thank you, Grizz, for gifting the tier 1 to K Scott. Thank you, Grizz. Thank you! Grizz has now gifted 65 subs in the channel. Thank you, Grizz. Much appreciated. K Scott, I hope you enjoy your sub and your new emotes. We are going to talk The Last of Us 2 spoilers, but only when Giggles shows up. I have a very specific... So for people who don't want to hear the spoilers, I have a text thing. I set up a text thing right here. See it? For when we're talking about the spoilers, just so you guys have like a visual indication. If you want to mute the video when we talk about it, this thing up here will let you know when we're talking about it. But we're not talking about it yet. I don't want to get into it just yet. Hold on. I need to force close Project Zomboid. It's frozen. I don't know what happened, but it froze on me. But last night's episode was really good, man. I gotta say. I don't want to say what happened yet, but oh man, it was so good. Thank you so much. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone what I've done for you. What? Huh. Project Zomboid has an icon for me now. It didn't have an icon before. What? I think there's something wrong. This game is kind of acting up today. Weird. I hope this works. We should be fine, but I hope it works. Anywho, yeah, and sorry to be a little bit late today. I actually had a really good reason today. there was a bit of an incident at work that I can't really talk about, but as a result of what happened, there was a lot of stuff that had to be done. It was an all hands on deck kind of thing today. So I had to do 30 minutes of overtime. So I had to rush home, rush through my shower, and get ready for stream. Also, I got some soap in my eye. My right eye, the white areas of my eye are just like super red right now, so it's pretty unpleasant. My eye's like on fire. But the show must go on. I've tried to flush out my eye as best as I can, but at this point I just have to wait until it fixes itself, so. But man, does it itch. Anywho. Oh, hold on. Okay, Mama Taku wants me to make a plate. Oh, it was click to start, huh? Oh. You know, in hindsight, I don't know why I press click to start if I have to grab some food. Not my smartest moment. Anyway, let me invite the Grizz. Give me just a second. Well, it says he's offline, but hopefully he'll be able to join. Okay. Anywho, Hey Scott says, I don't really know your schedule. I just look to see if you're on Twitch when I'm on. Thank you, K Scott. So my schedule is actually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I used to do Sundays, but I haven't done a Sunday stream in a while. I might keep it that way for the foreseeable future, unless I just change my mind. But so far, it's just going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So I do this time. I start around this time, and then I go for about 3 hours. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are all the same times. And Saturday, if you take the current time and subtract 7 hours, that's around when I start on Saturday. So, but yeah. And I think I updated my my schedule on Twitch to better reflect when I am actually online. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm West Coast time. Wink. Wink. Yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, the schedule on Twitch should be pretty accurate. Currently, the plan is to play a lot of Project Zomboid on Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Friday, I'm trying to bring back community nights. So Friday, for the foreseeable future, is going to be Warhammer 40k Dark Tide. Unfortunately for you guys, I've been a little busy on this past Thursday to Saturday. And as a result, I wasn't able to stream on this past Friday and Saturday like I wanted to. I was just too busy to do so. So, for that reason, there was a bit of a period of time where I didn't stream. But now we're back. Oh, another thing. Sorry. The schedule's going to be weird again on Saturday because the air conditioner needs to be installed. So for that reason, there's going to be no stream on Saturday. So, yeah. But after the AC is installed, I think stream should be a bit more, a bit less chaotic. It should make a little more sense. So, anywho, Grizz says operator error always. You know me. K Scott says oof sounds uncomfortable. Did you try getting a new eye? Why didn't I think of that? And did someone mess up? What's with the T? The T is from my Steam name. So the reason I have the T is because there are some people in real life that know that I stream, a lot of them do not. So the reason for the T is because I don't want them to know about my streaming. Um, so I essentially made my profile just named T, um, just so that no one will see like, oh, it's Taku. Um, so it's just T. Hopefully that's easy to notice. I did you might notice a bandage on my neck. So what happened while you were gone at Grizz, I I got attacked by a zombie and I got my neck lacerated. So if I remove this bandage, we're gonna start bleeding and I'm gonna start dying. So my current objective is to find sutures, something to stitch my neck back up, because currently it just is bleeding everywhere. So um, that's what I'm currently trying to fix. My character hasn't died yet, but we're very close. Zombie necking. That I'm really surprised we didn't get bit because I heard the bite sound, but we only got lacerated. I say that like it's not a bad thing, but in a way, it's not a bad thing. If you get bit, that's a death sentence. If you get lacerated, you can survive maybe, but I need to. We have enough health to like be okay. As long as I don't move the bandage, we'll be fine. But ultimately, we should find something to stitch that because it's pretty dangerous. And Grizz says, Taku, I'm not on my PC. No worries. It's totally up to you if you want to join. Totally up to you. Just extending the invite in case you were interested. Thank you for telling me your schedule, of course. K. Scott says, that's okay. It's been super busy here with family for me. No worries. And air conditioner, yes. My room is actually too hot to stream in. So I'm in a nice cool area of the house, so thankfully I don't have to worry about that. But if I want to stream where I want to stream, I'm gonna have to get an air conditioner. So that's what I've been working towards. Yeah. But anyways, or rather my parents have been working towards. Continuing on. That's fun, you'll feel great. The tea, so true. We're close to dying. Kind of. As long as we keep the bandage on, it'll be okay. It's easy to die, I hear, in the game. It's kind of difficult. I've died so many times. This is actually a game that I consider myself good at, but I have quit playing this game several times because when you play this game for like 20 hours, you've survived like an in-game like 2 months, and then you die because you didn't check a corner. It's kind of frustrating. And it becomes really hard to come back to the game after you've spent so much time with the character just to die, you know? So that's the reason why I played this game in waves. Sometimes I'm really into it. When I get invested, I get very invested. Time flies by. But I need a break after I die. I just need a break. But we're fine right now. And the computer makes it warmer too, I'm sure. Science. So true. It's really dusty in here, and I can see the dust forming on my PC, and I'm really hoping it doesn't affect the internals of my PC. I have a little dust shield, but I don't think that's enough. Science was automatically put in there. I didn't mean to type science. It fits. It's okay. I couldn't even tell. I am going to grab some dinner. And I will be right back. Give me just a moment. I will BRB. Alright. Sorry about that, but hopefully we can get dinner done early on in stream. I have some nori, as they say. Seaweed, for those of you that may not be aware. Sorry, I know the package is really loud. Shut up. There we go. Alrighty. Back to it. K. Scott says so much dust all the time. You're telling me. There's so much dust, dude. Dust covers just everything. Grab us some too. Don't worry, I'll squash the kimchi fried rice straight through the mic, don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. I need to remember what we were doing last week Wednesday. That's the rough part about only playing this every once in a while. Actually, wait, before we... See, the dirty bandage? We need, what we need is to... Well, let's clean this first, right? Let's clean this bandage... Or... Not clean the bandage. We need to... Okay. So we need... Get ready. I'm gonna clean it. We're gonna start dying. Okay, laceration, disinfect, alcohol wipes, quick. Bandage. See, dude? Nothing to worry about. And because I'm extra disgusting, we're gonna clean the bandage. Just like new. It's like the injury never happened. Okay. So, let's make a little game plan first. So, you might notice, here's where we are. I don't remember what this town is called. Lakeview or something, I don't remember. But we're here, right? So this is a school area, this purple building here. And the orange buildings are houses. My understanding is that this is kind of like a shopping area almost, but I think there's a lot of zombies. All of these green stores are retail stores. I'm not sure what these other purple ones are. I don't know what this blue one is. And then there's gas up here. And this is the police station, but we already raided that for supplies. And this is something, I don't remember what this is. But my car is parked out here somewhere. And if we follow the road down here, we can go to a warehouse. Now, this warehouse is what I'm looking for to get some supplies. Now, the problem with this store here, the problem with the warehouse is that there's a ton of zombies surrounding this warehouse. My hope is that by waiting long enough in-game, a world event, like, I don't know, a dog barking or something, for example, a gunshot going off, whatever the world event is, should cause the zombies to migrate away and cause them to slowly clump together over time. What I'm hoping for is for a world event to move the zombies away from this warehouse. So currently we don't have access to this warehouse. There's a gas station here, I think. Here or here. That or there's a restaurant here and something. I don't know. But there's something over here. I think there's more housing down here. Welcome into Appy. Welcome in. I'm just explaining where things are on the map. So, just to recap, town, gas, warehouse is what I want. More gas. Now, if you look down here, you might not be able to see all of it yet, but there are some, I think, like trailer houses here, and I think the town goes like this. It's like a bit of a rectangle going down the street, but I don't think there's much I don't think there's much worth looking at down there. So, now as for this area here, there's this giant fence. I don't know. I have a feeling that something is in here, but what I want to do is I want to get some supplies before I go in. I'm a little bit worried, and we should probably heal ourselves before we run straight through some fence hole. Our hideout is up here. This is the place that I plan to build a base. I want to build a giant wood wall around the area so that we're safe to fish and live here. And there's just miscellaneous houses scattered around. And then there's this, like, thing here out in the forest. This is where I got lacerated, so. But yeah, you guys are pretty much up to speed. How was your weekend? My weekend was good. I'm just glad to be back. Back and not having to worry about stuff. Me and my secret weekend. But anyway, I ate extra beans. Beans for that fart. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I have food here. So just a general reminder, if I'm quiet and you see my mouth move, it's because I'm eating. Now, if I'm making expressions a lot and my mouth is still moving and I start gesturing towards stuff, I'm not eating anymore. I forgot to unmute my mic. So if that happens, definitely let me know. But for the most part, if I'm just like, it's because I'm eating. So anyway, welcome into Kitsune. Welcome in. How are you? How art thou? I don't really feel like recapping the map, but actually no, I should start eating before I. Oh, welcome into Giggles. Welcome in. Oh, so sorry. Since I'm gonna say this again, it's in the stream title, but just so everybody's clear, I'm gonna be doing Project Zomboid, but I also plan to talk about what happened last night on The Last of Us. And I think if Giggles is available, Giggles is going to join me as well. Now, I'm going to have text on the screen. I should probably show you before I yeah. So, I'm going to have text on the screen. See that? So, this will signify when we start talking about spoilers. If you don't want to hear the spoilers, just mute your mic. Or your sound. Mute your sound. And when you see the text disappear, then we've stopped talking about it. But that's for later. And yeah, I did have text on the screen for when I'm eating, but I overrode it with the spoiler talk stuff. Anywho, but Giggles, are you ready to join us over, or join me rather, over Discord voice? Are you prepared? Give me a sec. Okay. I think I might wait to eat until Giggles shows up. That way you guys have somebody to listen to. Thine self is in war. Why is that, Kitsune? How are things with the how are things with that girl? How are they going? Here's hoping a world event takes the zombies away from the warehouse. So true, K. Scott. That is very much what I'm hoping for. I don't have... I'm not sure how long I should wait. The other thing I could do... hypothetically, I could, just... give me the bacon. I could take my car and just honk my horn around the warehouse. It's just hard to... You can divert the... Where's that zombie noise coming from? You can divert the zombies away like that, but it becomes really hard to lose them after you do so. Anywho. Girl gone? Kitsune, no! Kitsune, I need the details, man. I I need some details. K Scott says, speaking of girls, I met my brother-in-law's new girlfriend this past weekend. I like her. Our niece and nephew don't like her yet, though. Is there... Wait. Oh, that was a real life sound. I dropped a coin on the ground. Whoops. What, do you know what they don't like about her? Would you like to give us the gossip? I'm grieving. I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry, Kitsune. That's... You know, ultimately, honestly, maybe for the best. But I do understand. I do understand. I too would be truly devastated. I can't even lie. I too would be truly devastated. I'd never recover, really. I can tell you it sounds silly. They're younger. We don't like you because you're old, is what I'm hearing. Oh, Giggles is ready. Okay. Hopefully I don't die, but I'm gonna... Alright, Giggles. Head into the open mic. And we'll test. Oh. Sorry, turd thing is kind of big.
Muted?
Oh.
Wait, no?
Can you guys hear Giggles? I think it's good. What? Somebody's at the... Hold on.
Huh?
Sorry, somebody's at the door. Hold on.
Don't let him in.
You take over.
Do you think he's gonna be okay? Who do you think's at the door? Let's guess. What's this? Guess right now. Place your bets. Who's at the door? I think... Who would knock? I feel like it's not food delivery. Do you think it's like a neighbor? Like, oh my gosh, I noticed you had something outside, and I wanted to help you. Aspen's at the door. That makes too much sense. Taku would love nothing more than to have a surprise visit to his home from you. Honestly, you guys, Taku really don't like me for real. You know, he always says like, or I'm like, let's hang out, let's do something. You know what he says? Ew. That's all he's. I'm done. I'm not even exaggerating. He literally hates my guts. He says ew. But Kitsune, I am sorry about your lady friend who's no longer in the picture. But I also, if you are willing to share, if you are in a space to share, I have open ears and no commentary if that's not what you're looking for. If you do want commentary, you know I got a lot of room for that. But oh, you're fighting for her. Okay, tell me more. Because last I recall, this person, she kind of had a crush on one of her guy friends who rejected her. She mentioned that she wants to be with someone who loves her more than she loves them. She was invited to your birthday. What is your birthday? Did your birthday pass? Do I need to sing you a song? Was it your birthday already? Don't remember. I don't remember if you said what day it was. Happy early belated or present birthday. It was 6. 6. On the 6th? A week ago. Oh, frickety heck. Well, happy very belated birthday. Sorry. I thought it was like upcoming when you were talking about it. Dang, I'm late. My bad. But happy birthday though. But yes, you say you're fighting for her. I would like to hear more about this battle that you're engaging in. Dang. You'll get home first. Okay. You know what? Honestly, I have to say, I was thinking about this the other day. I moved to a new state in December. I've been living here since then, and I have not gone on a date since I've lived here. And honestly, I'm kind of proud of myself because I've like dibbled and dabbled on the apps and like chatted here and there. Nothing like crazy, haven't met up with anyone. Actually, a new friend that I met here tried to set me up with one of her friends, but he and I just weren't clicking and it kind of just fizzled out. But there's a part of me that's like really proud of myself that I'm just like leaving guys alone and just like doing my own thing because I have a very rich and beautiful life, right? Um, without dating. But at the same time, I'm like kind of bored. Not bored. I'm doing many interesting things. But like I'm just so used to like going on dates and seeing people and having stories in that regard. And I have no material. Like the past 6+ months, no material. Last thing that's happened for me is I went out to karaoke by myself on Halloween. And then I met this guy and we chit chatted and we kissed that night. And then I stopped talking to him like a day or two later. And that's it. That's like the first day of November. November to freaking April, almost May. I don't know. People say protect your peace. It's for the best, or whatever. And I'm so bored. Who was at the door talking?
I don't know.
What?
I didn't answer it. I just somebody was actually at the door. I muted my
Uh,
microphone, and then I just stuffed my face. And now we're here, so
you didn't even check.
nope.
That is so funny. You're like, hold on, someone's at the door. And then you leave for like 5 minutes. And then you come back and you're like, I don't know who's at the door.
Yeah, I just it was the perfect opportunity to just cram food down my gullet. So I finished eating, so now we're good.
You already finished eating? That can't be good for you.
It's not, but the
Huh?
show must go on.
Okay,
So
right.
yep.
Hear anything I said?
Uh, a bit. You kind of left out the the fedora hat wearing demeanor of that guy that you met. That guy you
Oh,
were talking about.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
That
That
dude.
didn't even count for anything. We didn't even like meet up or anything.
That dude talks like he wears a fedora.
That's just how I like him, though.
Milady, meeting with you was like a fairy tale. If only our hearts would touch once more under the pale moonlight. That's what he talks like.
Man, and I eat it up every time. I really do. Like my type, like I don't have a type, but I also do, but I also don't. I really love nerdy, dorky dudes. That is just, I will eat it up every single time. Like that was one of my prompts in my dating profile.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they don't want me back though.
Huh?
So sometimes they don't want me back.
Yeah, man. That's how life be sometimes. That's how my life be a lot of the time.
You don't even want anyone.
That's the best part. That's the best part. I don't have to face rejection if I never leave my comfort zone and never be interested in anyone ever. So, it's like the best part. I can't have any kind of like romantic crisis if I don't have romance. So, therefore, my heart is closed.
No.
My life is full of peace and quiet for the most part. For the most part.
That's something that I've been missing, like, or not missing. Okay, I'm missing as far as like I don't have like a romantic crisis, and I miss having that excitement. Like I don't need a crisis. I don't need toxicity. That's not what I'm saying. But I just miss talking to someone. No. Do you not miss it? Talk to do
I
you
got
not want to
friends,
like
man.
talk
I
to
don't I
someone?
don't worry about I don't I don't worry about it. I'm good, man.
That's true. I have beautiful friends.
Yeah, friends are all I need, man. I'm good. Kitsune says preach, and also why am I getting attacked? No, it's totally fine. If you want to go and find romance, that's fine. That's fine. Me? I'm good, man. I think I'm more likely to want romance in a situation in which I am not the chaser.
Oh, you want to be hunted?
Yeah, man. Well, I wouldn't put it like that, but yeah, sure. Um,
Pursued.
I don't. Yes, I don't want to be interested in somebody that's not interested in me. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, no one in existence is a romantic interest of mine. I have no romantic interests. If something happens, great. But at this point in my life, I'm too old. I'm like 30. Someone's at the door again.
Are you gonna get that?
No. I am gonna mute my mic though. Hold on.
Do you think he's in danger? He's still playing the game and moving the car, so it can't be that bad. Taco, are you still with us? Blink twice if yes.
Postman. That's all. I didn't say hi. He can come back later. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not. I'm partially kidding. My mom got the door. That's fine. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember. Sorry, there's a lot of chats I missed. Sorry about that. I want to catch up real quick. K. Scott said a while ago, they think she's too young for their uncle. They say she's controlling, wears too much makeup, drinks too much, and was pouring herself wine. She doesn't like kids because she didn't go outside with them. Or that's per them. They don't like her hair, say it doesn't match her complexion. It do... Sometimes things be like that. Kids, am I right? So true. I agree. So true. Kids, am I right? Children. But yeah, I understand. And Kitsune is home. Welcome home. You're welcome to talk about the relationship or lack thereof dramas. But me and Giggles also have to talk about The Last of Us at some point tonight. I don't know when, but we'll get there. We shall most certainly get there. And it was definitely drama. Ooh. Giggles, are you excited to live your relationship through Kitsune?
1000%. I live for the stories. I really do. Especially if I have none of my own, I need to hear from other people.
That's real. That's me too, honestly. Like, I don't want a relationship, but I do, but I don't. So.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, man.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Nothing. I've already decided I'm doing nothing.
Mm.
Yep. Oh.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, hello, Kitsune.
Greetings.
Hi, Taku.
Hello.
Hey, Giggle.
This is the loudest and the most clear I've ever heard you.
Yep, because I'm not on my laptop today.
Oh,
Oh.
right on.
Yeah, I'm using my phone for this one.
Oh.
Excellent.
A special
hmm
occasion.
Yes, it was that bad.
Oh, okay. Let's just get
It
right
was,
into it.
Yes.
it was terrible. So, I've been trying to like get her to come to this event for like weeks, like almost 5 days after we started talking. Because, as I said, I liked her that much in the beginning. So, it was supposed to be on Saturday, and I was supposed to invite this other girl that I knew and her boyfriend because like I wanted her to come with a friend and then also meet another girl at the venue.
Right.
But because one of our friends had like stuff to do on Saturday with his family, and we moved it to Sunday, and so the girl I invited couldn't come because she also had stuff to do with her family on Sunday. So we decided, yeah, let's just do it. Like they will meet us at the bar. It's me, and two of my friends, and she and one of her friends. So we got to the bar before them. We got to the bar at like 9. They got there at 9:30. But like we got there at 9. The bar is basically like three houses connected to each other, but they were all empty. Only one wasn't empty, but like there were only people on like the top floor. So it was basically dead.
Oh,
So they come, yeah, they come in at like 9:30. And I texted her, I was like, yo, when you guys get here, like let me know. I was surprised to like see them in the bar at like when I was like, oh yeah, they probably wouldn't be able to find us because we got lost looking for where people were. We had to like walk around the entire place before we found people.
right.
So like she came in, and before before we met at the bar, we're talking like the entire day. I think we're talking this is like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And we talked and she was like, yo, when she sees me, she wants to like give me a big hug because she actually wants to really see me. Like we even had this little banter where she was like, okay, when she sees me at the bar, she's gonna give me a hug. And then I like kind of played it off and I was like, yeah, I don't really care. And then she got mad at me because I said that I didn't really care for the hug. But like it was playful banter. Like she knew that I'm a very like touchy-feely person because
Okay.
I was the one like who was always bringing it up. Like anytime she was like, oh, anytime she sees me, like she's gonna give me a hug. I was like, yeah, you give me a hug and then I'm not letting you go. Like, flirty, playful banter. She
Right.
gets there with her friend. And like right from the get-go, I can tell that something is wrong because, well, I could tell that something was going to be wrong for a very long time, but then I saw her friend and I knew that something was wrong. It was this white girl, but like, not that wasn't why something was wrong. It was the girl that she's been warning me about for like weeks. Like before before we met, she told me like an hour or two before like we met at the bar, she told me, don't fall in love with my friend. And I was like, this is wild because she's been trying to like push me onto her friend for like a very long time.
Why?
And like, I don't know. She's like, oh, her friend is this very outgoing type of girl. Like guys meet her and then guys like her. She has like the girl I like has really bad self-image issues. She doesn't think she's pretty. Like
Oh,
she doesn't accept compliments at all.
Mhm.
So like it's hard work to get her to accept compliments. Like when it happens, like I'm basically jumping for joy that she actually accepted the compliment from me.
Mm.
And I know why it happened. Like I told you guys before, like it was the stuff with the guy friend that she had a crush on.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
So her friend walks in and her friend is wearing this like trench coat. And I'm like, okay. So I introduced her and her friend to my friends. And then like I was like, oh yeah, the place is kind of dead. We're gonna find something else to do. Like, we can eat here and then we go to the other place. One of my friends was like, no, he doesn't want to eat there. And like it was like a small thing, but at the end of the day, we decided we are gonna get beer. And then this girl, like her friend unbuttoned her trench coat and she was wearing this like very low cut top where like
Oh,
you could see like the inner part of her cleavage, and then she was wearing this like very short shorts that were like right not right above the knee. They were like showing thighs,
Right.
what was the girl you like? What was she wearing?
the crop top and jeans.
Oh,
So like her
interesting.
friend was kind of like outshining her.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I didn't care because I saw the girl. She is way prettier in person. Like I saw the girl and I couldn't take my eyes off her. And then like she sat down and I was like, oh, because I'm a very touchy-feely person, as I said. Like I like holding hands. I like hugging the person.
Right.
And then we sat down and that was happening. And we talked a bit, and then she was like, "You're very handsy." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay." And then because I also noticed that something was wrong because when I held her hand, I could see that I could feel it shaking, like she was that nervous. And then her friend always had to like hold her other hand. And I was like, oh wow, this is like really, really bad. She's dealing with very bad anxiety. But then she told me like, oh, you're very handsy. And I was like, oh, okay. So like going forward, I know that if we have any problem, she's gonna let me know. Because as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like I thought that because like we've been talking about this for a very long time, that we it was kind of like expected.
Right.
hmm.
Like, is that I don't know, is that wrong? Because like
No. Oh, go ahead.
we've been talking about it for like a very, very not a very, very long time, but like almost a week and a half now. Like I've been talking to her longer
Yeah.
than that. I've been talking to her longer than that, but like a week and a half is like how long I've been trying to like get her to come to this like event. And like
Hmm.
we've been very like we've been very flirty between that period, like very, very heavy flirting, not light shit, like almost all the time.
Right.
Hmm.
So like I thought that this was like acceptable. But then she told me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I took my hands off. Like it was a bench, so I actually was sitting kind of weird, and then I readjusted myself and sat properly. But we had to like leave the bar. We couldn't even eat at the bar because one of my friends got kicked out.
Oh.
We pre-gamed before coming into the bar, but like he did this stupid shit. I'm sorry for cursing, but like I think about it now and it's making me mad.
What did
He
you do?
drank on the way to the bar and then he kept the can of the drink
Oh,
in
ding
his pocket.
dong.
And he doesn't have deep pockets. I had drinks too. I actually had like full cans of drinks. I had three cans in my jacket. But like my pockets are so deep, you can't even tell if I have stuff on me. Like me and my other friend also had drinks on ourselves, but like nobody could tell. He, on the other hand, his pockets were like very shallow. So our waitress told us that, oh, they're sending her home because it was Easter Sunday. Like she just came into work just for a few hours. So the other guy, the bartender was the guy in charge of our table because like there wasn't really anybody at the bar. So he came over and then he saw it in his pocket and was like, yeah, you have to get out. Like it's illegal. So you actually have to get out. So at that point, me and my friend were like, okay, you know what's going to happen? Instead of being here, we'll go to another place because I actually wanted to do an activity instead of just like sitting down and eating. It's not really a date. I told her that it wasn't a date. It's just like us meeting for the first time and so that she can get comfortable around me. So we decided to go to Chinatown. There's this place I know where we play pool. Very nice place. They have like a lot of pool tables there. So we could play for as long as we wanted. We
Right.
went there and like the vibe was coming back because the girl and her friend were kind of like her friend was very, very mouthy actually. Her friend did something that I was like she was trying to like feel me out to know what kind of person I was. And I kind of passed it because basically I tell everybody stuff that goes on with me. I don't really hide stuff from anybody. So
Right.
like
Hmm.
I kind of passed it because I was like, she was asking me like the story behind the jewelry I was wearing because I wore this kind of like diamond pearl shaped necklace and then I had like a lot of rings on my hands, and one of them was like a clown, a skull clown, something. So she was like trying to feel me out with like, oh, what's the story behind this? I was like, nah, there's no real story. I'm just like trying to find my style and stuff. So she was like, okay. So back to the main story. We got to the pool place, and like stuff was going well. The girl that she brought, Yeah, like I'll use names at this point because I don't really care. Because like at the end of the day, today I got really mad thinking about like what happened. So the girl I like, her name is Livy. That's what I call her. I call her Livy. And then her friend is Kenzie. So Kenzie said she knows how to play pool a bit. We have another of our friend called Reed. Reed is good at playing pool too, but like he doesn't know the rules. But he's just like naturally gifted when it comes to games. So we told Kenzie that Reed won in the last game we played. So like the two of them can be on the same team, and then me and another of my and the other guy, Kevin, the two of us can be on the other same team because like we're just like, oh yeah, let's just have fun, you know. So we
Hmm.
played, we're having fun, everything was going fine. Kenzie and Reed were like kind of clicking with each other, which is cool. Well, no, it wasn't cool because Kenzie has a boyfriend.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody because I was like, I was in my head, I went like, yo, if anything is happening, at least like Kenzie is gonna say that, okay, yeah, she has a boyfriend. But they were clicking and like she wasn't saying anything. At a certain
oh.
point, I actually wanted to like call them out on it. I wanted to be like, yo, how's your boyfriend? Like I wanted to say something, but then, like I was like, shit, this is my boy. Like if this girl likes him, because I know if I say it, he's gonna back off. But she was also like, from what I was seeing, because for most of the night I was very tunnel visioned on Olivia. Olivia wasn't saying a word. She was quiet as a mouse. I have never seen anybody that quiet. You think that, oh, after like 30 minutes, an hour, like she'd start to come out of her shell. She wasn't. She was still so quiet. She was only talking to Kenzie. Like, even when we were at the bar, she left with Kenzie twice at like 15-minute intervals to talk for almost 10 minutes. And then I didn't know what was going on. In my head, I was just like, oh, it's a girl thing because I've been out with some girls before. That's like in a friend group. And like the girls do it. Like they leave for like a few minutes, go talk with each other, they come back, and like it happens. So I wasn't really like worried about it because from what I know, Olivia likes me. She may not like me enough to like want to date me, but like we had this argument a few days ago where she was like, "Oh, she's actually starting to see me as more than a friend. Like she's actually starting to see us in like a romantic sense." So I was like, "Hey, I'm already in." Like there's been stuff that's been said and done that in my head I felt like, yes, everything is fine, you know? So
Hmm.
like I
right.
wasn't worried. I wasn't worried about it. While we were playing pool, the two of them also went out for a smoke and everything. They came back and they would continue playing. And I felt like everything was going fine. My guy and Kenzie were like still going fine, and I didn't want to like ruin the vibe by like saying stuff. And then we finished our games, and Kenzie called me to the side and was like, "Oh, hey, look, I want to know like stuff that's going on between you and my friend. Like, when did you guys meet? How did you guys meet? Like, what do you like about her?" And then I was telling them those kind of stuff. I even started mentioning like stuff that didn't really matter because I told Kenzie that we were going to karaoke after. And then Kenzie was like, "Oh, you should sing this song for her." And I was like, "Yeah, I want to sing this song for her, but like, I don't know that song. There's another song that I can sing." And Livy likes The Office. And this song had like, it's a Billie Eilish song. It's not really like a great song, but it's like a fun song that referenced Michael from The Office. So I was like, I'm gonna sing that just because like Michael's in there and then just like make a joke about it later on. And Kenzie was like, "Oh, that's good." And then I asked Kenzie, "Yo, do you think that I'm doing good, like with the way everything is going?" Kenzie said, yes, that I'm doing good. Like, even for her, I'm doing good. That I don't need to like be too worried about anything. That Livy is just the way she is. And I was like, yeah, I know because like we've talked about why she's that way. And she was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's glad that I understand. So everything's going good. I was like, good. Let's head over to karaoke. Before we headed over to karaoke, we had to like talk to Livy first. Livy was all like, she doesn't know how to sing, like she doesn't want to bring the mood down. She told me personally that she didn't want to bring the mood down, but I was like, yo, don't worry, we're doing fine. Like even if we don't talk, I'm glad you're here. Like you just being here makes my day.
Right.
So like Livy was telling Kenzie that okay, she's not gonna sing at karaoke, but Kenzie was like, okay, that's fine. Like she's gonna sing. I too was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna sing. My guys too are gonna sing. One of them's been practicing a song for God knows what reason because it's karaoke. But like four people, yeah, like four people are already gonna sing. So like you don't need to like worry yourself all that much. And then I said to Livy, I'm going to serenade you. She didn't hear what I said because I was kind of like stumbling over my words, but Kenzie heard it. And then Livy asked Kenzie, and I told Kenzie not to say anything in her presence because I was like, yo, Kenzie, don't say nothing. Like it's gonna be a surprise for Livy. I didn't plan it, but like it's gonna be something that's a surprise now. And then Livy became this was the most like how do I say it? This is the most like I don't know. This was the most I heard her like talk actually the entire day. She was like, "Oh, Kenzie, I've known you for like a year and a half. Are you gonna listen to this guy that you just met today?" And then in like a joking manner, I was like, "Yo, it doesn't matter." I took Kenzie's hand in my hand and I was like, "Look, now Kenzie and I are friends. This is important for like later on." We went to karaoke. I was kind of getting the feeling that Olivia is Livy. Olivia was kind of like vibing more with my friends and Kenzie than she was with me because we're in the Uber. I sat at the front and then four of them sat at the back. We took an XL. So I was at the front, four of them sat at the back. All of them were talking. And like I was at the front, I wasn't like it's a big car and I wasn't able to like hear some of the stuff they were saying. So I just like let them be and I kind of zoned out until we got to karaoke. We got to karaoke. It was a nice place. It was kind of busy. Like I could hear like I think they had like 8 rooms, and I think four of them were already in use, and including us, that made it five. So it was a busy place. We got in. I sang the first song. The first song was from Tarzan by Phil Collins, Son of Man. I sang the first song just to like get the mood going. My friend sang another song. I forgot the name of the song. It was on the tip of my tongue. I just forgot it. My friend sang another song, and then Kenzie sang APT by Bruno Mars, and I think Lisa or Jenny. I think it was Lisa. Yeah, and I knew the song, so I started singing along with Kenzie. Now remember, Livy said, "Don't fall in love with Kenzie."
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't know how she was taking this. That Kenzie and I had like a moment of like one-on-one discussion. We had this kind of like what may be perceived as flirting in front of her, and then we did the duo at the karaoke place together. Even though like APT isn't a duo, but like we did it. And Reed, who has been like flowing with Kenzie like almost the entire night, put his arm around Kenzie. There was a
Oh,
camera. Okay,
go on.
what?
No, I'm
Okay.
just.
So like there was a camera in the room.
Hmm.
I noticed the camera because the friend that got kicked out from the bar for having the drink in his pocket wanted to drink one of the drinks I had in my pocket. So I'm like I like being observant, especially in places I've never been before. And the thing about the camera was I saw something online where they were like, oh, there was a camera in the karaoke room. So like that was the first thing I looked for when I got into the room and I saw the camera. So like there was a camera, the doors don't lock. You can hear people from inside the room in the hallway, like even from the reception, you can hear people inside the rooms talking. So like I felt like it was a generally safe and conducive environment. So after Reed put his arm around Kenzie, a few minutes later, and mind you, I was very tunnel vision like the entire night because the entire night in my head I was going, what do I do to like get Livy to like talk with me? Because I started feeling I was also very anxious. I was also very nervous too. Like I was
Right.
beyond nervous because like she was so pretty and like I've been trying to I tell her this even on the phone and then seeing her in person was even more like wow, you know?
Right.
So like I was that was like the only thing on my mind concerning the entire night. So I noticed Reed put his arm around Kenzie and then I was like, oh, okay, like if Kenzie allowed that because I like to think that okay, the way the entire night has been, if something is going wrong, someone is going to like speak up
Right.
because we didn't go anywhere that was like too quiet. Like even the bar we went to, even though it was kind of dead, there was still a lot of people around. The pool place we went to, there were still a lot of people around. Like when we left, I left. Like the reason I said okay, let's leave was because I looked around and like there were only like four people left, including the bartender at the pool place. So that was why I was like, oh, okay, we have to leave now because like there's almost no one here. So I kept us moving through like spaces where there were always people around. So I felt like if anything was going wrong, someone was gonna say something.
Right.
A few minutes after Reed has like put his hand around Kenzie, um, Kenzie and Olivia stood up and left. And in my head, I was like, it's fine. They did this at the bar, they did this at the pool place. Like maybe Kenzie is like trying to get Olivia to like open up a bit more because I told Olivia to bring a friend along so that she feels comfortable. So I wasn't even like worried because in my head I was like, oh, Kenzie is looking out for Olivia. I'm looking out for Olivia. Like everything is going the way it's supposed to go, apart from us talking. And then they come back, and Kenzie's like, "Oh, she has to go home now. That she has to take her mom to the to a doctor's appointment at like 9 a.m. tomorrow morning." And this was like almost 1 o'clock. So I was like, okay, I understand because we have to take an Uber back to the train station. It's like 20 minutes, and then a 30-minute ride from the train station to where we parked the cars. And then from there to their house is like 40 minutes, I think, or 40 or 20. I don't know. I didn't really like calculate it. But that's like almost an hour and a half or an hour's drive home, like the entire trip. So I was like, yeah, okay, if you guys want to go home now, like that's fine, it's fair. And then I tried like still talking to Livy, like, yo, okay, let me pay for your Uber. She was like, no, don't worry. Like we also had these arguments before where I was like, okay, when you guys come, I'm gonna pay for food for you guys, I'm gonna pay for drinks, like, I'm gonna pay for everything that we're gonna do. My friends and I are gonna split it, but like anything that has to do with you guys, it's on me. And she was like, no, but we succeeded in paying for almost everything apart from food. Because I told Livy, like, yo, are you sure you don't want to stay for food? Because I want to order food now. The karaoke place allowed us to like get Uber Eats. So I told her like, yo, I'll get Uber Eats and now and then you can eat and then before you have to like head home. And she was like, no, she wants to go home with her friend and everything. So okay, no problem. They left and then I started feeling like sad. Like I was very sad because I was like, I couldn't talk to her. Like even the whole like her being bold on text, like, oh, she's gonna give me the biggest hug when we meet. And like none of that happened. Like none of that happened. There was nothing that happened. So
Mm.
they went home, and then my friends got another drink. I have very low tolerance for alcohol. So like it's not like I was drunk, but I was like, hey, I was feeling it. So we sang like this Juice WRLD song, one of his sad songs about relationships. And then like we sang that and I sent it as like a voice note to her. And then okay, I sent that as a voice note. I sent that as a voice note on Instagram. And then like we also had another song that we sang later on that was more upbeat. I sent to her Snapchat. So they went home. I was sad. My friends were like, "Yo, don't worry about it," because apparently my friends didn't even like really want girls there. But like because I was the one that said, "Yo, let's go out," and I wanted Livy to be there. They were like, "Okay, like let's just let the entire team play out." So we sang, we're like upbeat and everything. I sent Livy the videos, and then because they were gone, um, I I didn't text Livy like on the way home. Like I didn't text her like, "Oh, hey, how's everything going? Like, have you gotten home?" I didn't send a text at all because like we finished that and then my mood was down because after karaoke we stopped karaoke at like 2:30 in the morning and then me and my friends went to get food. So we got home at like 4 in the morning.
Right.
So throughout that entire period, I didn't text Livy. My phone was dying. I was kind of like sad and pissed off at the same time because my friends were just going off on Kenzie, and because one of them didn't like Kenzie, the other one that liked Kenzie was still like, yeah, Kenzie was still kind of like, and me, I'm sort of like I like being very, very honest because I don't like people lying to me. So like they were talking about the entire thing. I just didn't want to talk about it because I was like, personally, Kenzie was a bit, much, but I didn't mind because she was looking after Livy. So I was very, very fine with whatever she was saying and whatever she was doing. Like that was fine. Like Livy seemed more at ease around Kenzie, and I was happy with that. I was happy that at least she was able to like do some stuff. So I get home this morning at like 10. I sent her a text like, "Hey, good morning, and I'm sorry." And then she sends me a text at like 3 o'clock while I'm already at work. And she's like, "What are you sorry about?" And I was like, "Oh, about everything yesterday." Because I was feeling bad that, we couldn't talk, like we couldn't do stuff. Like I felt like she was just very, very down about everything. And she went on her way on like before she came to meet me, she was like, "Oh, she wanted to get me chocolate eggs." And she couldn't get any because it was Easter. Almost all the stores were closed. Even Kenzie mentioned it to me that that's one of the reasons why she was feeling kind of bummed out because she wanted to get it for me, but she couldn't. And she told me she was going to get it. I was like, okay, like maybe that's why, but I still had to apologize. Like, I hope everything's fine. And then she sent me a text and it's like, "You seem like a nice guy, but I think I'm going to have to stop talking to you now." And I was like,
Damn.
"Oh." And then the next test that followed was, "And one of your friends made my friend very uncomfortable." So now this is like the big issue with me. I have an idea of what I did wrong. When she said I was very handsy, I feel like that was what I did wrong. And then the fact that I didn't text her like on her way home, I feel like that was what I did wrong. Considering Kenzie's situation though, I was more like Reed is a very chill, calm guy. Like you see them, they are very, very normal looking. They don't look like people that fight. They don't look like people that like do like they are very chill, mediocre looking people. We're all very mid. So I'm like, if Kenzie felt uncomfortable, I felt like after me and her had that one-on-one talk, she would have come to me to like tell me like, "Yo, your boy is doing way too much, like get a hold on him." And I would have like, acted, I would have reacted. Because the entire night my whole focus was how do I make Livy okay? So if
Hmm.
there
Right.
was anything else Reed had done apart from like putting his arm on her shoulder,
Hmm.
I did notice.
Okay.
Another
See,
thing,
okay. One more
yeah.
thing before you keep going. We got a couple people that just came in and they didn't hear the beginning. Do you mind if I briefly summarize and then you can continue?
Oh, but before you do that, welcome into Mandy, Blixie, and Dark. Okay. I meant to say that a while
Oh
ago,
boy.
but uh, sorry, go on.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. I'm gonna tell an express version, you guys. So listen up. So Kitsune, a couple of his friends went out with the girl Kitsune likes. Her name is Livy or Olivia. She also brought her friend along, which Kitsune encouraged so that she felt comfortable. The friend's name was Kenzie. So it's Kenzie, it's Kitsune, it's Livy, it's Reed, it's another guy or two, right? They're all going out, they're going to, bars, they're doing karaoke, all this stuff. Kitsune and Livy were texting a week and a half or so leading up to this outing. And, they were pretty flirty. She was saying, like, oh, I'm going to hug you when I see you. Oh my gosh. And he's like, I'm not going to let you go. Like, they kind of had, like, they had something going on. So then when they met up in person, Livy looked very like shy. She wasn't like as open as like Kitsune was expecting, but he was just like, oh, maybe she's nervous. Like he held her hand at some point, in the evening, and then she made a comment and was like, oh, like, you're kind of handsy. And Kitsune was shook. He was like, oh, given the nature of the conversations that they were having, he thought, like, oh, this is where we're at. And so he like, backed off, whatever. Kenzie, she showed up as well, and she's like much more outgoing, was talking and kind of flirting it up with one of Kitsune's friends. Mind you, Kenzie has a boyfriend, but Kitsune was like, well, it's kind of, Kenzie's responsibility to like check her own self. And also, like, my boy's kind of feeling her, so, they can handle that themselves. And so, at one point in the night, Kitsune's friend put his arm around Kenzie, which is Olivia's friend, right? They're singing karaoke, they're talking and stuff. Throughout different points of the night, throughout the night, the two girls, Kenzie and Livy, they would walk away and talk for like 10, 15 minutes. And they did that a couple times throughout the night because, girls talk, we do that. So he didn't think anything of it. But at some point during karaoke, they left and then they came back and were like, hey, like she's got to go. We got to, take her mom to go do something or something like that. And so they bounce out. Meanwhile, Kitsune and his boys finish off the rest of the night. They do their thing. He doesn't really text her up until like the next day. But then the next day she says like, hey, your friend actually made my friend uncomfortable. You seem nice, but this isn't going to work out, is where we're at.
Okay.
No, that was actually pretty good. So now I'm kind of like shook because this seems like a case, you know? Like I didn't see anything else between Kenzie and Reed to like put me in the position of very uncomfortable. Like the arm thing, I can get uncomfortable, but very uncomfortable is like a stretch because when we were playing pool, they hugged and like I didn't notice them like trying to pull away from like I didn't notice Kenzie try to pull away from him apart from when like because they won, that's why they hugged. And I was trying to like dap Reed up because I was like, yo, you won, like take the W, I'll take the L, you know? So
Hmm.
at- that was like at that point I was like, if there was going to be something wrong, that's supposed to be where it started. Like at and that was before Kenzie and I had the talk where she was like, oh, everything is going good and I'm doing good enough for both Olivia and her. Because she was like, yeah, she also still has to give me the go ahead to like, you know, pursue Olivia romantically, as friends do. I don't know. It happens sometimes. So I was like, if anything was gonna happen, that was where it's supposed to have started. And that was where like I was supposed to I wanted to ask Kenzie, like, yo, what about your boyfriend? But I didn't. So because I thought like it's going well, I don't want to like cause any trouble because I say that and then Kenzie might get pissed off at me because she may be wanting like one night out where she can do whatever she wants. And I'm like, hey, because she knew that I was bringing friends. I told Olivia that I was bringing friends. So she obviously told Kenzie that I was bringing friends. So I don't know, like maybe I have no
Hmm.
idea
I
what the
have
thought process was.
Kitsune, if I may interject, I have
Yeah.
female insight that may help illuminate some.
Okay.
So women, we talk a lot, and you know, I can see where the confusion is. because sometimes, and I'm not saying that this is right, but sometimes, people flirt and they say all this stuff through, in text, and then in person, the energy doesn't match up, right?
Yeah.
It's like I could see why you're confused, like, whoa, like we are talking about like hugging and stuff, like what's up, you know? But
Yeah.
given that this was a first your guys' first time meeting, she still seems like the type of person to where she has to warm up. Even though she was talking the way she was talking, she has to warm up. And so I think this is a matter of like Livy and your friend and her friend, they may have felt uncomfortable at times throughout the night. But one, women, like when we're uncomfortable, unfortunately, like sometimes it feels safer to just not say anything in the moment because when we're like nervous and we like, okay, like, they are probably going off. This is just, assumptions. I really don't know what they're talking about, but they were kind of
Yeah.
talking and checking in, like, hey, how are you feeling? Because, you're nice, you don't mean any harm, but, they didn't drive themselves. There were three dudes they've never met before, you know.
Yeah.
They're kind of in a vulnerable position, so they're just trying to like do basically like a threat assessment, and then like from a guy's perspective, it's like, oh, she's flirting it up, like she's feeling me. This is going great. But meanwhile, she's operating under the assumption that like if I like express that I'm really not as into this as he thinks that I am, then I don't know how he's gonna react. I don't know how I'm gonna get home. Like I have to figure this out. And so like I feel like they weren't expressing what they were feeling, and then you were basically going off of what was being said, but maybe there was like body language that like, you know, it's basically it's hard to pick up on those cues when people don't just say things up front, and that's where things get
Yeah.
tricky. But um, it's just really unfortunate all around. But like unfortunately, like even though she was being very flirty, when it's like a first meet, women are often like approaching new dates with like, how am I safe? How can I be safe? For the most
Yeah.
part, I feel like guys may not be thinking in that way. They're thinking, I'm trying to get to know this person. This person's cool. Like, I'm excited. This is fun. We're having a good time. And we're always doing threat assessment. So I think that's kind of where things might not have been aligned. And then maybe you just didn't notice, like, nonverbal signs that, she may have not been as warm and receptive to, like, the things that you guys were, you know, the things that were happening.
Yeah.
Because you think if you got problems, say something, but unfortunately it's not always that simple. So I think that's where the disconnect may have been, but I'm not totally sure. I wasn't there. I do know that I've been in uncomfortable situations and I didn't say, get your paws off of me, scram, be gone. Sometimes it's like
Yeah.
and then you just kind of walk away and then you find a way to like leave. um
Yeah.
so I'm not saying like you and your friends are slimy dudes, but like it just may have been, maybe you weren't necessarily like as receptive to like body language, or maybe she didn't feel comfortable, and it sucks, and I'm really sad for everybody. Like it should have been a fun night, but that's what I think happened.
Yeah. I feel like possibly because I was so torn of it. And the fact is, it was more of me just thinking, like, how do I make everybody comfortable? That I wasn't focusing on how people were actually like interacting with each other. Because I can
Hmm.
tell you for a fact that the other guy, Kevin, I swear I blocked him out for most of the nights. Like there were points where I would see him and I'll just be like, yo, and because the only other person that I was also looking at was Kenzie, and then Reed, because Reed was always at some point with Kenzie. That's why I also noticed Reed. But like everybody gave me space because they knew that I was trying to talk to Olivia. Olivia, on the other hand, was sticking close to Kenzie.
Hmm.
And then even when and the whole stuff that's so confusing for me is I talked to Kenzie. So like I felt like Kenzie and I having that one-on-one conversation, especially with the fact that she knew that I was the one that invited Olivia. I was the host. That she may have just been like, oh yeah, so Olivia doesn't like this. You should like. I felt like that Kenzie and I were supposed to like have that in common. That she knew that I was trying to look out for Olivia, and then she too is also trying to look out for Olivia. But like I wasn't
Mhm.
really focusing on anybody's body language because I don't body language doesn't really like convey a lot of stuff to me unless I'm
Mm.
like really sticking to you. So I
Mhm.
prefer when someone is like they say something or facial expression. Livy had like almost the same facial expression the entire night. She had just this like tired look. Kenzie, on the other hand, was more smiley, and then she was also like at the end of the day, even my friends they were like, yeah, Kenzie was on the defensive the entire night, and I knew. Like I can observe some certain stuff, but if it's like tiny, not stuff that they are trying to convey just between the two of them, I won't notice. If it's something that they are trying to like express to everyone, fair, I mean, I'll understand. But like I couldn't get it. So I was expecting at least someone would say something because the guys
Thank you,
were talking
Koi.
to me.
Sorry. Thank you for the
Anytime the
resub.
Mhm.
guys,
Sorry.
hey, hi, Koi. Anytime the guys had an issue, they talked to me. So I was feeling like, okay, if Kenzie had an issue concerning Livy, she would also talk to me. And like the whole thing of, oh, Livy, don't worry about Livy, like you're doing good, I'm doing good. Like that was what Kenzie said to me. So I was like, okay, maybe that was fine. And then today it happened. And now I'm like asking Kenzie, like, oh, hey, okay, what actually like happened? Because if one of my guys did something that I wasn't aware of, first of all, I told her that I am apologizing on his behalf, but like, let me know so that I can confront them and make sure that, yo, what you did, you don't ever try this shit ever again. Like
Mhm.
Right.
if it and because Kenzie seemed to be this very outgoing person. We all saw her as this like outgoing person. So like if it was like enough to make Kenzie uncomfortable, then that would must have been something like really, really bad. So I wanted to know
Mhm.
like who did this so I can talk to them. Because Reed at the end of the day was like, oh, when he put his hand around Kenzie, he asked like if it was okay. And she was like, yes. So I took his word for it, only to discover this today. Like last night, I took his word for it, and then now I'm discovering this today that, oh, okay, probably something went wrong between him and Kenzie, or maybe it was my other friend and Kenzie, because my other friend didn't like Kenzie at all. Like right from the get-go, he didn't like Kenzie. Because as I said, Kenzie wore this like very short shorts, and he's like very conservative, like with the whole like cleavage, with the shirt she was wearing and then the shorts, he didn't like her. Me, I didn't really care about it because like I've been here and I've been around like a lot of girls through high school. I knew I had a lot of female friends. I have a lot of cousins and aunts. So like I know like they like to like my friends, my sister, my cousins, my aunts, they have this dress style for whatever mood they are feeling. So I don't really think much on it. So like I left it alone for her. So I didn't really think much on it. So like Kevin didn't like it at all. And I was like, okay, so maybe Kevin was coming off a bit aggressive towards her. But I wanted to know. Livy, on the other hand, didn't tell me who did it or what happened. She didn't tell me what I also did wrong. Because now on Snap, I think she unfriended me on Snap and then she added me back because Snap does this thing where like if you unfriend someone on Snap, it takes away your best friend badge. And like I went on Snap today and I saw that my best friend badge with Liv was gone. So, and she always had like her location on. Now I can't see her location anymore. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is like something really off. But she didn't block me, and she isn't really like ghosting me either because she's reading all my texts I'm sending her on Instagram when I'm asking
So,
like,
have you guys been messaging lately? Like, when was the last thing you guys said to each other?
okay, so last thing I asked her was like, I want to know what I did wrong specifically because fair enough, Kevin was also like, yeah, he didn't really see Reed do anything out of pocket. So
Hmm.
for now, like until I hear what Kenzie has to say, I'm going to like let the two of them slide. But like if what I hear from Kenzie is a different, excuse me, if what I hear from Kenzie is a different story, then I have to confront both of them about it. But
Okay,
like
okay.
if what Kenzie tells me is the same thing as what I hear from them, I don't really know what side I'm going to be on. But like I have to still tell my friends like, yo, this is what you did that made her uncomfortable. You have to like be careful with this shit. Don't do this stuff around people you're just meeting,
Yeah,
you
okay,
know?
that makes sense. I think what I want to do, if you're open to this, is I want us to talk about this off stream because I have more questions, but if I
Yeah.
ask them all, we're literally gonna take up the whole stream.
Okay. Yeah.
Nah,
Because
just
I really
ask
want to
So
them
talk
like,
about it.
within reason, obviously. But
No,
you're
no,
good.
it's
This
like
is
it's I want to do a deep dive. That's my thing. I
hmm.
want to do deep dive. So,
yeah, we can do that later.
This is
yes.
spicy stuff, man. I mean, I've been kind of
Yeah.
just
So,
listening and just have forming my own opinions, but I don't know. I feel like from from what I think I've heard, I think Kitsune's heart is in the right place. I definitely understand what Giggles was saying though. I just think there's a bit of a disconnect between like I think Kitsune was expecting more like if something's wrong, it would be verbalized, but I feel
yeah,
like
because, like what I was expecting was I wasn't expecting them to like say it out loud, like in front of
mhm,
everyone. I was expecting like at least Liv, because Liv texted me while we were there. Actually, no, I texted Liv like asking how she was doing because like with the way she was so quiet, I had to like text instead. I was like, "Oh, how you doing? Is everything okay?" And then she apologized for bringing down the mood, and I was like, "No, like everything's fine. We're still going strong. Like everybody's still happy." So I expected that at least if she felt something was off, she would have texted me, and then with the one-on-one I had with Kenzie, Kenzie would have also told me.
right.
But this is another okay. So I also asked Liv what I did wrong, and as I said, Liv has this like very bad self-image issue
Mhm,
where she feels like she is practically unlovable,
mhm,
and like she doesn't take compliments. Like when I tell her that, yo, I really like you, she's like, yeah, I know, but like she doesn't deserve it. She says that all the time, and I'm like, no, like you need to understand that you're an amazing person.
mhm,
But she doesn't, like, I feel like she hears it, but like it's in one ear out the other.
Hmm.
So when I asked Liv, like, oh, okay, tell me what I did wrong. Forget about our friends for now. We'll do that later. Tell me what I did wrong. And then she was like, not right now. And she does this thing where like she calls my name or like she says my name, and it's almost always in either an endearing manner or like when we're having an argument and she's trying to get my attention.
mhm,
Like I don't know if maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like that's when she calls my name. Like if she feels like I'm ignoring her or she's trying to get my attention in an argument that yo I should actually listen to her. Like she says my name. So seeing that, I feel like she still wants something to do with me, but there's something else bothering her. And this is where the whole don't fall in love with my friend issue comes in. I spent more time with Kenzie,
than I did with Livy.
Ooh.
And Livy has this like whole idea that everybody hits on Kenzie, but nobody does it to her apart from me. So I don't know. She may be taking the fact that Reed was hitting on Kenzie, and Kevin did try it too at some certain point, but like bro doesn't really have game enough to pull Kenzie. But Reed was.
Sorry.
I'm being very serious. He knows this. I know this, and because I don't hide it from him that yeah he has no game for it. So like I feel like maybe the issue that she has with me is that I spent a bit of time with Kenzie, and
Hmm.
that the whole hand holding thing I did in front of her before we went to karaoke, and maybe the fact that Kenzie and I also did karaoke together, kind of like ticked her off and made her feel like I was also hitting on Kenzie.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it sounds like she may not be a very effective communicator, and she wants a mind reader. You know,
The
you
thing
can't
too
make
about that,
anything better that you don't know went wrong.
yeah,
And if she's not able to express that to you or not willing to, then there's not much you can do here.
yes. Which is why I said like I'm fighting for her because like I need to know if it was the fact that she felt like I was being too close with Kenzie, then I can easily explain that. But if it's something else that she thinks I did and I understand that oh it was wrong, like I'm not going to try to explain myself out of oh I didn't like the fact that you were like all touchy feely. I'll be like oh okay oh my bad, but like I stopped that early on. Like when they first came to the bar and then the whole like little exchange happened where she said that I backed off the entire night. The only
Hmm.
other thing I did that night was when we were at pool. I like because I noticed that her hands were like shaking when we first met. I went up to her and I was like, "Yo, let me see your hands again," just to like see if she had calmed down. I don't think she understood it. I wasn't really trying to explain it at that point because I feel like she would have also tried to hide it. But like I took her hand, she was a bit more comfortable. So I was like, okay, so like she's getting better, like stuff is getting better. So
Hmm.
I have this idea that maybe she felt like I was hanging out with Kenzie too much, or Kenzie lied to me with the fact that oh she thinks everything is going fine. Because I asked Kenzie like, okay, did she tell you anything about me? And Kenzie was like, oh, she told me about you, but we haven't really talked about you yet because Kenzie has been in school. Kenzie only came back from school like she's been in college. Kenzie only came back from college I think on Thursday or so. So like up until recently they hadn't really talked about me.
You know, can I
So
say
I'm like,
something?
yeah,
I one time I was talking to a dude and like we were flirty and stuff, but he only wanted to hook up, but I actually liked him.
mm,
And I was like, I basically told him, I was like, well, I'm not trying to hook up like that, but I still want to hang out and go on dates and stuff.
yeah,
And when I like made that clear, he he didn't ghost me. That wasn't it, but his energy definitely changed and he wasn't as like responsive. He
yeah,
basically just kind of like withdrew and I'm like, "Well, dang, are you not interested in me? Like if I don't want to like hook up, like that sucks." And that's not what you did. That's not the same thing. But from her perspective, it's possible that when she expressed like, "Hey, like, you're being a little handsy," and you're like, "Oh, my bad." You were coming from the place of I don't want to make her uncomfortable. I'm gonna back off. And she may have
oh,
perceived that as wow, like, I just all I didn't want was like him for him to be as handsy, but I still like want him to engage with me. And then you chatting with her friend for a long portion of the night, on top of maybe that moment of hand holding, it may have like triggered an insecurity if you say that she struggles with self-confidence. Like, man, like he doesn't really, he's avoiding me now that I said that, you know, this is how I want to think the rest of the night to look like.
I actually
That is a
I get
possibility.
that.
Hmm.
Oh no, I actually get that. You see, this is why I like talking with you guys. Like you guys help me see because I didn't think of it that way. I thought
Hmm.
maybe she might have just felt like I was hanging out a bit too much with Kenzie. Because on the other hand, I was feeling like she was getting a bit friendlier with my friends than with me.
Mm.
Because like she didn't really smile at me, but like when she was talking with my friend, she was all smiling and like giggly a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just the problem. Because before she came, I asked her like, do you think like if you see me in person, you're going to be disappointed? And she was like, no. She's seen my pictures on Instagram. She's seen me from my dating profile. I've sent her snaps of what I look like. And she's like, yeah, she's pretty sure like we're okay. So I know it's not like I know it's not something to do with how I look or like how I dressed. So maybe it is that. But she doesn't want to talk. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Because we had an argument like on Friday night where like it was a case of mistaken identity. A girl called me with a private number, a black girl called me with a private number, and I say black because it's needed for the story. She called me with the private number, and then she was pissed off and cussing at me, and she was like, "I've been dating her for 5 months, but I'm cheating on her." And I was like,
Oh.
"Excuse me, I don't even know you." And she was like, "Okay, who are you talking to right now?" And I was like, and then I called another girl's name, another girl that I talked to like a while back, because I'm like, okay, this is the only person that I know is black and maybe doing something like this. But then I remembered I didn't give her my number. The only girl that has my number is um is Livy. So like it's near impossible for this girl to be calling me. So like I went to Livy and I was like, yo, is Kenzie white or black? And she was like, oh, Kenzie's white. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she was asking me because she thought I was trying to like find out more about Kenzie and then maybe get something
Mm.
going with Kenzie. So I was like, no, like someone called me and I thought like maybe it was a test from you to find out if I was talking with anyone else. Because she told me that she was seeing me as more than a friend at this point. So
Mm.
I was like, maybe it's a test for Sunday to see like if stuff is gonna happen. So I was like, and then I told her that, and then she was like, no, she doesn't know it. She didn't give anyone else my number. And then she checked, and then she realized she didn't even have my number. Like she didn't save my number because I sent it to her on Snap. So she was like, oh, she didn't even save my number. I was like, okay, no worries. And then I said the dumbest thing I'd ever said in like months. I said, oh, I actually feel kind of flattered that somebody thinks that I could be juggling a 5 month relationship and then talking to other girls on the side. And then like I could see my screen grow colder because the next text I received was about how she's not supposed to be mad at me, but like she's kind of sad now because she feels like we've been having something and now I'm flattered because someone else was hitting on me, which is where there was a disconnect. I told her that this girl was cussing at me. She thinks that I was talking about like she thinks the girl was hitting on me. And
You
then she was
guys
like,
just
"Oh,
communicate
she's
very
pissed
differently.
now at me that she doesn't want to cry about guys anymore because it's pathetic." And I was like, "No, you missed like the entire point. This girl was cussing at me, and me saying flattered was dumb because like I was trying to think of a word for it, but I couldn't like the word wasn't coming up, so I just put flattered, thinking, oh, it will just like blow over easy. We had an argument for 2 hours
2
It
hours?
2 hours. It got so bad that I fell asleep while texting, and then she called me twice to wake me up. I didn't tell her I fell asleep though. She just thought like I left and stopped talking to her, and she called
Kitsune,
me twice so that like
Kitsune,
we could. Yeah,
this is a lot. And when you're first starting out seeing someone, getting to know someone, because I don't even know if I would call this dating at this stage, it's supposed to be the most fun time. You shouldn't be having all this miscommunication, all this conflict, all this hoopla in the
yeah.
beginning
Hoopla!
stages. Has it
Hoopla!
shut up, Taku. Like has it
Hoopla!
been a full month of talking yet?
No, almost 3 weeks
That's
now.
that's too
No,
much.
3 weeks. 3 weeks
That's
yesterday.
your 3 week anniversary. It's
Yeah.
too much stuff for this early on. And it's like you got to do a cost benefit analysis type thing right now. Like
Yeah.
three weeks
The
and you're
reason why.
arguing and you're miscommunicating and you're not understanding each other.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The
And
reason
I know
why I
you want to
didn't
make it better.
mind
Go ahead.
the reason why I didn't mind was because like I told her that okay, we need to like clear this out because now I'm finding out that okay, you are liking me way more than you think you should, and which is a plus for me because like I'm trying to date you and everything. And like I wanted us to like hash it out. That's why it took that long because we talked about um the whole like mistaken identity stuff and flat Earth and everything, and then we moved on to the fact that she feels like she's not deserving of love in any sense.
Mm,
Like
I'm,
as I said, she doesn't take compliments. When she does, it's like yo, the sun must be shining in winter. It's like 20 something degrees in winter. That's how it feels when she takes a compliment. Because it's so rare for her to take a compliment that there was a day where I was talking to her and she was like, I'm an amazing person. And I was like, yes, that's the first compliment you've given yourself since we started talking, apart from calling yourself funny, which was basically just banter. But like you telling yourself that you're an amazing person, that is like a good place to start. And I basically made a screenshot and sent it to her, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm keeping this to show you that you are actually getting better." And so, like for me, the argument wasn't really all that much of an argument, more than it was the fact that I was getting to know that she was seeing me as like a potential partner. And then a few days ago before that, she came to me with like a problem where she was like, um, she's actually scared now about the two of us because she feels that if stuff doesn't work between the two of us, she's never going to meet someone that talks to her the way I do. And to be fair, I put in the work. I worked overtime on that stuff. I told her too that yo, for me talking to you, I'm basically working overtime because
Sorry, go on.
I I'm very cringe when I like someone, which I believe like everybody has seen. But for her,
no.
I took it I took it a step further. I my entire Instagram feed is basically relationship quotes now. I didn't have this. My Instagram feed used to be cars and anime and like fun stuff, comedy. Now it's relationship quotes. Like I can't scroll past two reels without seeing one relationship quote.
They're
Hmm.
And
listening.
I read romance books. I watch some stuff. I watch series. Like I'm trying to also write too on my own. So sometimes I come up with stuff on my own and it hits and she's like this is so her fear of yeah, nobody is going to talk to me the way you do. Valid. I'm boasting at this point. I'm bragging, but yes, valid. I did that. So it makes everything so confusing for me right now because like how do we go from 100 to 25? That
You
that's
should
how
never
that's
start
how
at
far I
100 though.
dropped.
I,
We went from 100 to 25. There's stuff that's been said
hmm.
that like I don't get
That was getting
that with
freaky.
I don't get that with anybody else.
Hmm.
Like she told me that I needed that I told her that I was supposed to delete Hinge after like talking with her and everything. And she was like, no, I have to keep on talking with other people because she's afraid that she may not be the one for me and everything. And then I
Mm.
was like, okay, I'll try it with one person. And then she was like, yes, do it. I did. And this other girl was like really, really into me for some odd reason. We only talked for like 5 days. Oh, I see. So that's how crazy I sound too. Oh,
Okay, Blixie redeemed the hydrate, so we gotta take a water
Yeah,
break.
I
yeah.
drank some water. Thank you, Bluxy. Thank you for the hydrate. Welcome into Azure, by the way.
Also, Bluxy was right about like we need to bring Kenzie in here to like chat and clear the air. I followed Kenzie, which is something else I think may be an issue because I feel like Kenzie may have told Livy before I started like really apologizing. Oh no, okay. So when I told Livy good morning and like I'm sorry about the way stuff went last night, I followed Kenzie. Kenzie apparently knows the girlfriend of a friend of mine. So they
Oh
follow
Lord.
each other on Instagram. So I see how my recommended, but like I never really like knew who she was and how she was connected to Olivia. And then we met yesterday, and then I was like, oh, okay, so I know who you are now. And then I followed her. So like if Kenzie told Olivia that I started following her on Instagram after meeting yesterday, I feel like that may also be another problem.
Mm.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to also like contact Kenzie and find out like, okay, what went wrong? What went wrong with you and what went wrong with Olivia? Because now I need to know. For my friends, I need to know as a matter of honor and integrity to know that okay, this is what these guys did, and maybe I should not be hanging around them that much. But like, I still need to find out because like if someone sees my friends that way, then that means they also see me that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
like
maybe
so
try not to
yeah,
contact Kenzie directly. Maybe just try and resolve things with Livy if you can. But if she's not
yeah.
willing to communicate and like tell you, it's not your responsibility to hunt and chase her down.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was definitely overreacting today because like I was at work when it started happening, and it broke my heart. I can't lie because like seeing that at work is ooh. But then
Yeah.
yeah, the other girl I was talking about that Kenzie that Livy was like, yeah, you should actually try something. So I it must be me. I may be the one that's attracting people terrible for me because she also has self-image issues.
Mm-hmm.
Her own issue is she's fat, and
Hmm.
it's not even like she's that big. She's like a very pretty girl. So like I don't know. Well, everybody deals with stuff their own way. I also do with my own self-image issues. So like I get it. But I prefer Livy's self-image issue. This is crazy to say. Like I prefer Livy's self-image issue of where like she doubts herself than where this other girl doubts me and everyone else around her. Because this other girl, she calls me at like 4 a.m. in the morning, and it's no joke. I don't like someone calling me straight out of the blue. Like text me and then call, but you call straight ahead and you do it almost every day. It starts to piss me off. Even my friend that I talk to him like almost 8 hours a day at work, there are some days I'm like so pissed off. I see his call coming through and then I just don't answer and I lie and I'm like, oh yeah, my phone's dead. Sometimes I don't, but like sometimes I really need that personal space to myself. This girl calls every day. She we okay, so another problem is like I don't like when people change their mind way too quickly over a lot of stuff. I told this other girl that look, I like you, but not that much. But like, fair enough, we're just talking. And she was like, yeah, 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 it's okay. And then she started talking about like deal breakers in a relationship. One of them being that the guy she's dating can't have female best friends. I have a female best friend, but like we are not each other's type. And then she is the one who like picked the title up for herself that she's my best friend. My best friend is my cousin who's back home in Nigeria. So like for her, she likes the title because like we always talk. We talk a lot. She tells me like almost everything that goes on in her life, and I do the same. So like for her, she's happy with the title, and I don't like correct her or anything because I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. But like this girl was like, yeah, she doesn't like guys with female best friends. She doesn't like, and I enjoy watching anime and stuff. And she was like, no, she doesn't like people that watch anime. She doesn't like a lot of stuff that I like. And I was like, okay, no problem. And then she one day I said to her like, yo, you called me at like 9 a.m. in the morning, man. Like I don't want to be up at 9 a.m. in the morning. I'd rather just like be in bed and cuddle. I was like, cuddle who? I was like, you. And then she went off on me. And she was like, oh, don't say that kind of stuff to me. Don't do this. And I was like, oh, okay. The previous night we had discussed stuff of a sexual nature. I wasn't trying to go that far. I was just going like bare minimum, like if you're actually having a relationship. And then she was so angry with me that I was like, oh, okay, no problem. If you don't like that, I apologize. I'm sorry. We were supposed to go out on a date this past Friday, on Good Friday. She canceled the date on Wednesday, called me back at like 6 p.m. and rescheduled the date. And I was already pissed off because I was like, why would you cancel the date? Because you're angry about something I said. I apologized and everything, and you're like, "Oh, it's fine." And then other stuff happened through the day, so I wasn't really just pissed about the whole like she canceled the date. There was something else that she said to me that made no sense, and like it ticked me off. I talked to some other people about it, and they were like, "Yeah, it makes no sense for her to tell you something like that." So like I was like, "Okay, fine. We go to the date on Friday. We do anything on Friday, but like, look, this is just us meeting and whatever." And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, it's fine." And then on Thursday, was it Thursday? Yes. No, 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 not Thursday. On Friday in the morning, she like texts me and calls me and is like, "Oh, she isn't feeling so good. She has like a really bad headache." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. If you have like a bad headache, it's fine. Like we're supposed to go to the aquarium. We're going to the aquarium at 5 p.m. No, we're supposed to meet at 5 p.m. We get to the aquarium at 7 because we have to take a train to the city." So I told her, okay, don't worry, like take your time. Like once it's like 2 o'clock, let me know how you feel. And then at 2, Olivia was texting, and then this girl was calling. And I was like, I'm still kind of like ticked off from the entire thing on Wednesday. So I was texting Olivia and I was like, okay, let me just talk to this girl for a minute. I talked to her and then she was like, yeah, she's still feeling bad. She's still feeling like not so good. I was like, okay, don't worry, it's fine. Like, just rest. Like, it's raining now too. Like, it's showering. I don't like take you out of the house and then you get sick. You have work on Saturday. It's gonna be fine. Just we'll reschedule. And she was like, no, but she wants to see me. I was like, no, 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 it's fine. We will reschedule. It's no big deal. She was like, okay, no problem. And then she texts me that she wants a hug. She really needs to cuddle. And this was where I got pissed off because I'm like, I told you this same thing 2 days ago. You got pissed off at me. Like we were on a call when I said it. She ended the call. Like you got pissed off at me saying this stuff. Now you're telling me bar for bar, word for word. That's crazy. And then like I was basically switched off the entire time. So at this point, I was like, yeah, I don't really care anymore. Liv is the one I want. You were just like an experiment to find out if I could move on. Sorry, that's
Right.
crazy to say, but yes, that is what it was. You were just like we tried, we tried, and it
Right.
didn't work. So I don't. There isn't anything to like bounce off here. So she called me like 6 times on Friday. I didn't answer any of her calls. The whole
Okay.
time, this is why I say I'm not a good person. I'm a nice person, not a good person. Because I don't
Okay.
like when people are like, oh, he's a good guy. I'm not good, I'm nice. She's calling me, she's calling me, I'm talking with Livy. Like I see a call pop up when I'm texting Livy, and I'm like, oh fuck. And then like my phone is ringing, and then I tap the button, and I like it goes off, and she calls again, and I'm like, ah, again, and we do that, and it's done. And then Saturday rolls around, and I like starting my Saturday morning off talking with Livy. I wake up to 3 missed calls from this girl. And I'm like, I know it's my fault that I should have like said it. I should have told her that, yo, look, you're telling me the same thing I told you that pissed you off and made you cancel a date. And like I don't want to deal with that. Like you are becoming too she's aggressive. Her type of self-image issues make her aggressive. I don't like people that are aggressive with it. Like I can understand like your emotions are heightened. It happens to me. I can understand that you have self-doubt. It happens to me. But aggressiveness, I can't deal with aggressiveness because I am not aggressive. Like
Mhm.
once someone is too aggressive, I move away. I don't like it. It leads to too much friction. And like for me, too much friction means frustration and then anger. And I don't like getting angry. Annoyance I can deal with, but not anger.
Hmm.
You ever
So
see is it the Hulk? You don't like me when I'm angry.
it's not great. I got angry at work once and it still bothers me to today. So like I don't like getting angry around people. And annoyance is fine, but like anger is a no. I don't like it. It
Hmm.
messes with my emotions on a huge scale and like it throws me off for like a couple days.
Mhm.
So like she's calling at 4 a.m. I'm not picking up her calls. I talk with Livy from like 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Oh no, not 4 a.m. I don't leave it for like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. because she has like work at 11. And then like for the first time in like a very long no, okay, no, that wasn't on Saturday. On Saturday she doesn't get any breaks. I think on Saturday she just works 5 hours and then she's. Like
I'm sorry, I gotta go.
I'm talking with
I'm up
Livy.
my pants.
This girl is calling me throughout on Saturday.
Hmm.
She's calling, she's texting, she's like, "Oh, I hate you. We're supposed to meet." Like I'm just like, I don't want to talk. If you like, the funny thing is, I'm someone that texts, but I didn't even want to text either.
Right.
Like she was jumping from one thing to the other, and then she says something, and Instagram allows you to unsend a message, not delete a message. So I can't even tell
Mhm.
how many times she like unsent something. But there would be some text that I would see, and I'd just be like, "Oh my days!" And then I'd open Instagram again, and there's no text, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So she took it off,
Right.
but like she did this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She blocked me like twice on Sunday,
Kitsune,
and I was
I
still
don't.
like, "Yeah, I don't really
I
care."
don't know what to say about some of the things you got to
This
deal with.
this is dark lore for me. I've never talked to like two people at the same time
Mm,
where I'm like, yeah, this one person is so much less than the other. If I'm talking with two people, it's just because like we haven't made any plans and I'm trying to see who I like more.
mm,
And like I'm pretty sure like it goes the same, especially because like it's on a dating platform. So
mm,
fair enough. But
right.
this one was just bonkers. I didn't want it at all. The only reason I did it was because Livy said I should try.
Mm, right, right.
That was the only reason I did it. And then when I discovered like, yo, this girl, and then I went back to Livy, and then I stopped talking to her. And then I told her like, I told her today, was it yesterday, that look, I'm not trying to like go into anything with you. Like, if you want to block me, it's fine. And the crazy part is she's coming to study at the college I study in September. My
Mm-hmm.
last semester is in September. So I'll definitely run into her.
But
I probably have like only one course, but I'll run into her in September and I'm not looking forward to it, but I know it's going to happen.
it's okay. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. But like
But
I think she blocked me. I don't think I've been unblocked yet.
nah. Well,
But like,
if she does unblock, keep us updated. Unfortunately,
mm,
I do have to pivot a bit into the Last of Us 2 spoiler talk.
yeah.
Sorry, I know it's a little bit abrupt, but I also wanted to
No,
give
no, no, no. I was done actually.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to give
Thank you for listening to my rant.
of course. Thank you for
Of course.
sharing. It was very eventful. I always love a good kitsune lore talk. It's my favorite. But yeah,
Yes, we will discuss further, Kitsune.
yeah,
Thank you.
I do hope.
Hmm.
Dark says failed that QTE. He failed all the QTEs.
Yeah,
It's
that's
okay.
terrible.
I I believe things will work out when the universe is ready to let them work out. I don't know. I I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts. I feel like Giggles pretty much said like all the thoughts I had in my head though. A lot of it seemed like it kind of came down to like a bit of a miscommunication, but I definitely think your heart's in the right place. There's a good man in you. I can feel it. Thoughts,
Somewhere hidden
Giggles.
far.
No, I shared everything I wanted to share.
Hmm. All right. Well. Oh, and Koi has to lurk. Don't want spoilers. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do before we get into The Last of Us spoiler talk. Sorry. Once again, sorry for the abrupt conversation topic change. Um, we're gonna pivot into The Last of Us spoiler talk. Here's what I'm gonna do. This might actually take the rest of the night, but I'm gonna keep this text here. Now, when the text is up, we're still talking about The Last of Us HBO. Now, before we get started talking about it, sorry, and if we do happen to finish before the stream's done, I'll get rid of it. It'll probably stay up for the rest of the stream. Um, but oh, and good night, Koi, if you have to go, or enjoy your lurk if you're lurking. Um, before we get started on the Last of Us spoiler talk, I want to emphasize that this is you're allowed to talk spoilers up until what's happened in the HBO show and not beyond. So if anybody knows what happens beyond, um, just don't say it. If it happened in the show as of yesterday, it is fair game. If it happened after that point, just don't say anything. So if you're caught up on HBO, there won't be any spoilers for you. But I just want to make that clear to make sure that we don't get like Giggles, for example, didn't play The Last of Us 2. She watched it on HBO, so she doesn't know what happened next. And I feel like some people in here are also in that same group. So, please watch your spoilers and watch what you hint towards or allude to about future events. I want to try to make sure that everybody that isn't playing the game has the chance to experience the story without spoilers. So, but yeah, the first season came out. It went over the first game. The second season is going over the second game currently, and there's only 2 episodes out so far. But good night, Koi. Good night. Dark played the games. Yes. Um, also, if anybody wants to chat over voice about what happened, this goes for Mandy had said earlier that Mandy, Bluxy, and Azure have recently, as of about an hour ago, they have recently finished The Last of Us episode 2.
Get
I'm,
your booties in here right
I'm making weird
now.
hand gestures. You guys can't see them, but they've recently finished episode 2. I want to talk about it a lot. There's a lot of things I want to say and a lot of like trivia that relates to the game. I'm not sure if I should say those things, but well, I guess while we wait for the possibility of Bluxy, Azure, and or Mandy, Giggles, would you like to give your thoughts about how the whole episode went? Is it what you were expecting? Would you say?
I don't even know where to begin. Again, this is your last warning. Spoilers coming. Scram if you haven't seen it.
Yep.
Okay.
Final warning.
That being said,
Go on.
I was watching with my sister yesterday, right?
Mhm.
And the way that they shoot and film and like tell the story, they could just. Who
Oh,
the frick is that? What is up, Blue Sea? Oh my freaking
Hi,
god!
hello, hi.
welcome into
hello,
Bluxy.
hi, hello, hello. Hi.
Wait, sorry. Before Giggles continues, Bluxy, have you played the games?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. I absolutely destroyed those games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted
Go
the
ahead, Giggles.
frame of reference, but yeah, go ahead.
No, it's just the way that they tell the stories and set the scene is unlike any other show I've seen on television. Like the way they build up tension and suspense
Mhm.
and they just let you kind of sit in it is so uncomfortable, but it's so brilliant. I
Right.
literally was telling my sister, I was like, this show, they do not follow the rules. They don't follow the rules. They are literally paving their own way. And what's crazy is that I have never played the games, right? I only know what little I know of it, I've heard from Taku.
Right.
So I'm like, the way that they're telling it, not only is it masterful storytelling and television, but I'm like, it makes me invested so much in the story to where I'm like, do I want to play this game? I'm not a gamer,
Oh,
Mhm.
but
you
I
should
might.
totally play the fucking games. They're super accessible too. Like they'll actually find plenty of ways to just make it easy for you. Because even if you're just a shit gamer, they are extremely worthwhile stories to go through. And honestly, as much as I do like the way that they're writing some things in the series, I'm gonna have to say I prefer the way the storytelling goes in the games. Maybe
Mm.
not for season 1. I think season 1 kind of does it pretty well, but for season 2, I got a lot to say, but at the same time, like, I don't think I could really say it until that season's, like, finished up, because there's just, like, the way that the game kind of carries itself out and the series carries itself out, it's very, very different in ways that, like, they're kind of, in the way that they want to, like, present information to the audience, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I-
want
And
to
I
say
watched.
that season 2 is
Go
like a
ahead.
lot safer in storytelling. As dramatic as this
No
last episode
way!
was, yeah, it's
You're
way safer.
kidding.
Way, way safer.
Would you like to elaborate what you mean by safer? I think I know what you mean, but just
I think
to clarify.
it's yeah, I guess it's like oh, I want to be very careful how I say this so that it's not like too spoilery or anything like that
Right.
for like future information, but I guess like it's the way that information is presented, especially concerning Abby and what she's going through,
Mhm.
it's like you are getting all the sort of necessary breadcrumbs that provide you just like all the empathetic info that you need to sort of understand like why this brutal shit is happening before your eyes.
Hmm.
Whereas like the game just kind of fucking sucker punches you and you're like, wow, okay, we're here. Like that's pretty brutal. And
Right.
and that's all I can really say as far as that goes. But like, yeah, I think the series has done a I wouldn't say better job, but more thorough job of just kind of like trying to pinpoint out all the things that would kind of make like um someone gaining access to this kind of story like just from the rip um a sort of more digestible format for like the really intense shocking moments.
Mhm.
That's very interesting because I was literally, excuse me, I was messaging Taku last night after I watched it, and I was like, this is very interesting because they gave us all of Abby's like backstory, well, not her whole backstory, but like her motive essentially, right? Like
Yeah.
why she was doing what she was doing. And I didn't feel a lick of empathy for her. I was
Really.
like,
It's
I don't care.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
don't
it's
care.
funny because Mandy and I had like the same vibe. We were like, this actually didn't help her case out at all. Like the
None.
the action and the that entire event is super despicable. And like we'll talk more about that because I would love to see your perspective on the game because the game presents it in a way where it's like, nah, like you just get this character kind of thrown at you. You're like, oh, okay, she's like interesting. I wonder what she's up to. And then that happens with Joel and everything. You're like, what the
Right.
like what happened? And then you kind of get everything sort of given to you bit by bit.
Right.
Um,
So
yeah.
to answer Appy's question and kind of going off of what Bluxy said, the golf club happened. Yes, the golf
Yes.
club happened during yesterday's episode, and
Mhm.
yeah, like Bluxy was saying, there actually is a lot of there's some differences between the game and the series. Generally, I find that the series tends to change aspects of the way the I don't know. It changes like details here and there to kind of make it better or like emphasize a feeling they want you to feel.
To be honest, for me, it's a little bit more handholdy.
I
It's
agree.
Yeah.
and like what I don't like about that is that it's like it becomes a little bit less challenging in that way. And
Mhm.
um of course I know why they're doing it is because like they're really scared of getting the repercussions that like the game had, which was just like a really polarized audience.
Hmm.
But like
Mhm.
I don't know. I think in a way that's like kind of what makes it so grand and special in its own right. It's just like, yeah, it's a really polarizing story. Um so yeah, I don't know. Like I still have faith in what the series is going to do and like how they're going to kind of display everything, but yeah, I don't know. I would love for you to finish this series and then take on the games, play it on easy, and just, go through it for just the story. Because I would love to see the perspective of like someone going at it from like show first, then games.
Hmm.
See, and just hearing the way that you guys are talking about it, it's like it's really interesting because again, I don't play games, but I just watch Taku play games and listen to
Hmm.
him talk about stuff. So that's the way that I experience games.
Hmm.
And from my observations, it's like when you are playing a game and you are like fully immersed in the story, it's like I don't know. I didn't understand gamers really until I met Taku because I was like, what is it like? Is it like TV, but you like have options? Like, what the heck? It's so different. Such a
It
different,
Yeah, that one depends on the game, but
such a different
go on.
experience.
Yeah.
Like, but Taku, you play like very story heavy, story based games. Like
Mhm.
that is like you're not just mindlessly like matching fruits like what I like to play. So like when you're in like this really deep, complex story and you're playing the game and you're invested in these characters and the outcome is unknown, like
Right.
I feel like in that sense, you can afford to like be a little bit more, I guess, like cryptic. You don't have
Yeah.
to like give us everything because it's like it's all on you. Like you have a say in what happens. Whereas versus like writing a show or like television, like you are kind of telling us what to feel. You are trying to evoke a certain emotion from us, like get a certain
So
response. Like, you're
it's
presenting
really
the
interesting
information.
that you say that because it's like even in a
Mhm.
game, for instance, so it's like you do have these sort of multiple options, like a free roam game where it's like you can kind of choose where you want to go. But for a narrative sense, for the most part, unless you're playing a game like Heavy Rain, where or anything that Quantic Dream has made that is very much just all about you're going to choose a bunch of options and those options have big repercussions to the overall like narrative of the story. For the most part, a lot of narratives just kind of guide you in this sense. Is like this is what you have to go through. Like you can kind of kill however you want if you come across these situations, or maybe you have to drive someplace and you can kind of choose your own way to traverse the map. But when you hit these sort of narrative main points, it's like this is what's going to happen. This is what you're dealt with, and you'll have some very interesting games that came out like BioShock that absolutely like blew people away when it first came out because the entire narrative was kind of like you're just being guided through this really mysterious underwater place that's this underwater city that's just gone through hell, and now you're kind of picking up the all the little bits of storytelling through the aftermath. So it's like you're finding little little like radios or like notes everywhere that you kind of just finding out what happened. And all throughout it, you have this guy who's talking to you, who's always asking you, like, would you kindly go do this for me? Or would you kindly go do that? And come to find out at the end, big spoilers for everybody who hasn't played Bioshock yet, but I mean, if you haven't played it by now, it's kind of Jesus Christ. Um, you find out that like you're being mind controlled by this phrase, would you kindly, which kind of just sets up the whole point of a video game in this really great, like, oh wow, like this is fun, like this kind of just flipped the entire point of a game on its head a little bit, and made you a little more introspective about that. Last of Us Part 2 also does that in
Mm.
a very different way. um and like, yeah, this kind of been like the one bit that I've just been kind of caught thinking about it when it comes to the series, where I'm like, I think it'll work. I think the series can remain like a strong 7 or 8 for me at best. But I think like the way that that story works and why it works so well to me is because it's a video game and you're kind of forced to take control over a situation that you might not want to be a part of at all. Um, Whereas the show, it's like there's kind of a bit of a disconnect, I guess. I don't know.
See, and Dark says the game slowly builds on Abby, but the show didn't, and it lost me almost instantly. I can see where that would lose because honestly, I think it would be very interesting if this random chick came out of nowhere, freaking destroyed Joel, and then we're like, what the frick? What's going on? Like, I still kind
Yeah.
of had that reaction, but like,
So
it would have definitely been way stronger for me.
yeah, the game actually, I think I'm gonna say a little bit about the game for
Mm-hmm.
giggles. Hopefully, it's not too bad. But in the game, there have been a few things that have happened so far that are just different from the game. The main in the game, you kind of start playing as Ellie, and you're on like patrol with Dina, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm,
you kind of spend time getting to know Dina. You already know Joel, and you already know Tommy. Uh, Sorry, I'm trying not to die while I'm standing out here.
You're good.
But let me just crouch over here. So, uh, where was I going with this? Uh,
On patrol with Dina.
yeah, so you're on patrol with Dina, and they suddenly give you control of Abby, and you know that Abby is there for someone, but they don't really tell you who Abby
Yeah.
is there for.
And you're
Eventually,
introduced to like a bunch of new characters too, like
yeah.
her entire group, and you're kind of like, who, like,
So
what?
in the game, you're introduced to the group and their names, but you're not introduced who they're looking for. And then eventually, things kind of play out pretty closely the way they do in the show, where it just so happens that like, while Abby's out, she gets ambushed by a bunch of like the infected, and Joel's the one to save her, right? And it's actually one thing they did in the show that was different from the game is that it wasn't in the show. It's Joel and Dina are the pair on patrol,
Mm-hmm.
but in the
Mm-hmm.
game it's Joel and Tommy are together.
Mm-hmm.
They essentially play the same role, but you have to kind of like play as Abby and try to get out of that situation. And sorry, where was I going with the story?
Well, no, because I mean, to kind of build off of what you were saying, because it's
Yeah.
like you're pretty much playing as Abby, right? You get saved by Joel,
Oh,
and you're so grateful for it,
right.
but you
I
still have no idea like where that's all leading
right.
to. You know, you're
So
just like, oh shit, like here's Joel, like how great, cool, sweet.
yeah. Sorry, I remembered what the point was. What I was gonna say.
You're good. Go,
So
go.
like Giggles was saying, it would be better if you didn't know anything. That's what the game gives you. They don't really tell you like what Abby's vendetta is against Joel. You just kind of play as Abby, and then it's like, oh, the guy I'm looking for. All right, let's kill him. And that's just kind of like it. And it's not really explained to you the reasoning. So the show gives you that reasoning really early on, but the game doesn't do that. It's very much like, and now he's dead. So I don't know, it kind of gives you like a different feeling. I feel like the show loses out on that. I feel like you lose out on Ellie's perspective a bit, because the game does a better job of being like, who's this girl that just came out of nowhere and killed Joel, right?
Yeah.
You kind of lose that perspective in the show because you're like, oh, I know that Abby's associated with the Fireflies. And you understand that she's upset and that she's looking for Joel, like, right off from episode 1, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I wonder too, I'm like, it's interesting because I watched it and I think Lucy and he said Mandy and Zara were also like, we got the backstory, but we're like, I literally don't care. Like,
Right.
hello, you killed Joel. Like, so I feel like in a sense, we're still kind of like, who the heck is this? Like, you did this horrible thing and I don't like you.
Mhm.
But it could have definitely elicited a stronger response without the backstory. So I'm wondering why they chose to tell it that way, and if like that'll be made clear as the series progresses. Did you guys watch the
Oh,
director's cut
sorry,
thing?
real quick. Welcome into
Oh,
KNS. Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Sorry, let me just get this out of the way real quick.
Oh,
We're talking
you're
about
good, you're good.
we're talking about The Last of Us 2 HBO spoiler talk. Anything that happened as of last night's episode is fair game to talk about for spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, now's your chance to mute, lurk, whatever. As long as this text is on screen, we're going to be talking about spoilers. But welcome into KNS. Welcome in. Sorry. Go on.
It's
oh my gosh.
honestly, and like I don't want to be too pessimistic, but I really genuinely think that the writing was like set this way because of the fact that they saw the aftermath for Last of Us Part 2, the game,
Yeah.
and they were really, really scared to just play the cards that same way. And I think like they wanted to play it a little bit safer and make us empathize a little bit more. But honestly, I personally believe that they kind of just shot themselves in the foot by doing that.
Yeah.
Um,
I absolutely
I
agree.
Yeah, I think that story works so well because it's just such a gut punch, and like then you get slowly revealed all the things that like should sort of point out a different angle to the story, that like then you have to deal with the fact that it's like, oh yeah, yeah, there's like a whole other side to this, and it's like, you know, I, I mean, there's way more to like what Abby goes through, because I think like regardless, everything that Abby does from the start, regardless of if you know her intentions or not, like it's still a brutal predicament. Like everything that goes on with Joel and Abby and that situation in the cabin, it sucks. It's not good. Even every one of Abby's allies are not happy about it. They're all just like, Jesus Christ, this is a mess. And like, I don't know, like I think for me what made me actually feel for Abby is like the entire aftermath of that circumstance. Like everything that happens afterwards and like how things kind of unfold is why you start to care about her. Um Beyond that, it's
Try
just
not to
like,
allude too
yeah,
much, but go on.
yeah. Yeah. Like I want to limit it to that, but it's yeah, I think everything beforehand is kind of just like giving reasoning, but it's not going to make you care anymore about her because you're still on Joel's side at the end of the day. Like
Mhm.
it's like the real sort of meat to Abby and like, you know, getting a bigger sense of like her as a character all comes from like the aftermath of it, in my opinion.
Mhm. Right.
Interesting, because I'm like, I'm going into this blind. I've only ever seen the show.
Right.
And what's crazy is that from my perspective, just as a viewer, I'm like, it feels like risky storytelling. Like the story in and of itself, it is what it is,
Yeah.
regardless of how they choose to like express it. But the way that they choose to express it, to me, it still felt like they were breaking like conventional rules of television. I'm like, you're supposed to do it like this, you're supposed to tell it like this. This is
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it still
No,
feels like
the
pretty
main beats are
risky.
still just like, holy crap, like
Oh
okay.
my gosh. You know what really got me was the
uh,
freaking scene where Abby's crawling under the gate with all those infected falling through.
Oh,
You know what I'm
that
oh my
was
talking
god.
so
about?
well done. I loved how
I
they
That
did
was
that.
literally wanted to
incredibly
throw
well
up.
done.
That was so good. That was like the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
That one infected like reaching so hard that it just like
Yes!
splitting his hand through the fence. I was like, oh my
Oh my
god.
gosh. Oh my gosh. My sister and I were
Ugh.
like yelling at the TV. It was
Ugh.
like shot so beautiful. I literally felt like the walls were closing in on me. Like it was so uncomfortable. But I was like,
Yeah.
this is like if you could win. I don't know how awards work, but they could win an award for how they shot that scene because I
Yeah.
felt like I was literally in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that was
I'm really
awesome.
glad we got more infected scenes as well. That was my main complaint about season one. I felt like season one was more of like
Mm-hmm.
a people drama with like infected every blue moon, but it very much
Mm-hmm.
felt like the infected are an actual threat for season two, which is something that I like as well.
I
But
will say, I'm pretty sure Mandy and Azure were on the same boat when we were watching it, but like just getting adjusted to like Tiny Abby is really weird. Like I still don't know
yeah,
how.
I do think that like a little bit of her character is missing as a result of
Hmm.
because I feel like when you see like buff Abby, it kind of gives you like a visual representation
Yeah,
of her suffering
vendetta.
and her
Yeah,
like desire for like I need I need my revenge, you know?
yeah.
And I
It's
think
like, whoa, this chick has just been like in the gym, just getting ready.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
in the game it's very much like you can kind of see that she's prepared for this moment for so long. And in the show it's just kind of like she looks the same as she did what was supposed to be 5 years ago, you know?
hmm hmm.
So,
Which like I mean it's totally fair. Like I don't, you know, I don't see I don't see many not even girls, just people in general being able to get that jacked. Like
yeah.
Abby's big.
Yeah. So Mandy says Joel shot her dad. Abby tortured Joel. Her motivations aren't going to change much for people. Yeah.
Mm. Hmm.
And then Dark says, love the infected scenes. Absolute peak. So true.
Yeah.
The second Last of Us is the people drama. Low-key true, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, why not make
You
their
know what? I will
buffer-
say this Owen is actually like seemingly more likable than he was in the game. Like
I don't.
this version of Owen.
I
I
think
was
they
like,
picked
oh,
a
okay.
pretty good Owen.
Yeah.
Owen
they
is
did.
pretty good. Abby as well. I very much like Abby. I I heard something like being buff was not a requirement for the role, which is kind of why like Caitlyn Denver got the role.
Right.
But I don't know. You lose a little bit of her character, but to me, it's not a big deal.
Mhm.
Not the end of
I
the
mean,
world.
I don't think it's the end of the world, but I do think it's kind of a requirement a little bit.
I'm like, it would be nice, but I'm not too
Yeah.
I'm not too bothered.
I guess we'll deal.
Yeah.
Deal.
But shoot, what else was I gonna say? Giggles, do you have any other thoughts about any other scenes you've seen?
I have too many freaking thoughts. I don't even know what I'm thinking.
Spill the beans.
Like, okay, so it broke my freaking heart that not only the way that Joel died, I'm like, dang, that was messed up. But two, that he died before he could like resolve anything with Ellie. That
Yeah.
made me so sad. I was like, they didn't even get to fix it.
Oh,
Yep.
another
Oh, yeah.
thing. Sorry, kind of in a somewhat related vein. I like the way they did his death was like an 8 out of 10. I don't think it was as good as it could have been. The game is actually worse. So
Worse?
yeah, so when he gets shot in the legs, right, in the HBO series. But in the game, he gets shot in like the kneecap, and his knee is like gone. So
Yeah, it's just a hole.
his leg is like held together by like a tether, basically. And when the golf club scene was also really toned down, in my opinion, for the show, because the golf club doesn't break in the game. So it's pretty much just like Joel getting his face beat in with like a golf club in the game.
Ugh.
So his like they do it kind of similarly in the HBO show, but in the game, like
there's a similarity. You know what's
Yeah.
funny is I think it actually gets dulled down because Abby has a whole ass monologue to him, and it's like it just shoots down a little bit of the adrenaline from that situation. For me, it's like
nah,
I don't know. It pulls away.
It was-
pulls away. I don't know why.
it was fine for me. I just feel like there's more. To me, Joel looks like badly injured, but he doesn't look like he was like very painfully tortured or like had a very painful death. In the game, like you can kind of see like the corner of like the left side of his head's kind of like bleeding, but in the game, it's kind of like caved in partially because he's been hit so many times over the head.
It's also well, it's also like, and this goes a long way for like set decoration and set lighting, but it's the change in rooms because they did it in the sort of cabin's kind of main living room in the show, whereas in the game it takes place in this sort of like sub room, and you get these very like icy blues just kind of covering the entire room. It's like dark and decrepit, and it's a really uncomfortable place. Like the moment that Joel kind of walks in that room, you have this gut feeling like, oh wait, like this place is kind of fucked up. Like what's about to happen? And then it happens. Yeah, and I think that goes a long way. Like I had just like a kind of a really, there's a big contrast in that atmosphere just from the lighting of the room and where it all takes place. I think it makes a big difference.
Right.
But yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
it's I will say, oh god, I always forget her name, but girl who plays Ellie, she did like an
Oh,
Bella
Ashley
insane
Ramsey.
Johnson.
job.
Oh,
Bella
What?
Ramsey. Bella
okay,
Ramsey
never
for
mind.
the show. Yeah, no, for the show, she did an insane job. Like,
Yeah.
really, really good. Just
Yeah.
fucking hit it out of the
That
park.
scene was 10 out of 10 acting. Some of the voice lines before that
Yeah.
were kind of questionable, but everything like after that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
No,
don't
my
know.
sister. Go ahead.
Go on. Oh, they just
No, I was supposed to.
if you
I'm gonna
I'm just
be.
gonna say it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it.
Yep.
The
Okay. Yep. Uh-huh.
in the game or in the show, sometimes they say lines like directly from the game. If you have a point of comparison, the lines on the show sound like they're reading off a script, and it doesn't sound good. But if it's like fairly unique
Dude.
dialogue, then it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say?
Oh my gosh. I gotta say it. I gotta say it. And Abby's acting takes me so out of the moment for me. Maybe I'm just a
Fair.
hater and I don't like her character, but I'm like, to me, it feels like she's trying to like cosplay as like this badass. And I'm like, you're literally not. You're just violent and angsty and you want revenge. Boo hoo, your daddy died. You're acting like you're living in a world where everyone else has lost somebody, but you're somehow special.
It's so
Okay.
funny, dude. It's just like I don't
Like,
know. I remember
whatever.
because it's like I kind of understand where you're coming from. God, I want you to see like video game Abby so bad because like she's just such a powerhouse. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
I'm
god.
debating like showing
Like,
her some of
bro,
the
you're like
game
a 25.
comparisons.
Like, what do you mean, like, he's gonna die slow? Like, okay, Miss Scary Lady. Like, she did it. Congrats, I guess. But I'm just like, I don't know if it's her acting or if just her character as a person, but I'm just like, you're not selling it to me.
Your
You're really
daddy
not doing it
died.
for
Boo
me.
fucking who?
Sorry.
Uh,
Like, you're 5+ years into this thing. Zombies have been around, infected, whatever, cordyceps, and you want to traverse the countryside, like the whole country, for one dude. It's so stupid to me. I'm sorry. I have no compassion. Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to read what Mandy said, but I'm fighting a zombie. Okay. Mandy says him trying to get up when she asked him to get up was pretty devastating to me in the show. So true.
Yeah. That little bit was great.
I agree.
You can see him actually struggling.
And Dark says weak torture scene. Agree. Mandy says I don't think they showed his death in the game. They kind of do. They don't show
do.
they don't show like the moment that like Abby like kills him dead, but they do show like a lot of the points leading up to it, and they show what he looks like after that. So
No, they totally show the final strike.
well
They totally show
they
the
don't
final strike. I remember that fucking
they show the
that
strike, but they don't show
sprinkler
like
of blood coming out.
they don't show Joel during the strike is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but they
I
do.
mean, that's good directing, though. It's like we I think that's stellar directing. Like you have to cut away because it's just like too much.
Yeah, I think it's also just
That moment
generally
was
better as a
brutal,
cutaway
dude.
because it does kind of like leave a little bit to the imagination about how terrible that moment must have been rather than just showing it to you. So yeah. Let's see. And I didn't think they showed her beating him though. No, I don't think they showed that part. She shouldn't have switched to her fists, honestly. It doesn't seem as brutal. I mean, if it was
It
Abby,
did, and I'm like, yeah,
if it was
sorry.
Abby in the
it
game,
was
I'd
buff
be
Abby,
like,
yes.
yeah, I'd be like, oh. But if it's just like,
Be like, oh, those fists suck.
yeah, if it's like Caitlyn Denver, I'd be like, this would hurt, but I don't think it would kill me. If it's Abby in the game, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be dead after the first punch. But
Yeah.
And that's
KNS
the thing too. I didn't even know until I talked to. Oh, go ahead.
KNS says, The Last of Us is drama in general, and I agree. The apocalypse has been going on a minute now. You want to act the fool? Get out of here. Lamau.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and
Exactly. You want to act all hard body like you're the only person who's lost something. Get over yourself. The world's on fire.
right. Sorry. That also my stream is lagging. Sorry if you're experiencing video issues. I something's going on. It's not your fault. It's on my side. Um,
Not you, it's
Going
him.
Taku.
and Mandy says it's not very believable because Abby Tiny in the show, real. Yes, but I don't know. It's one thing. Yeah, you break the golf club, but then after that, if it's just followed by like tiny Abby punches, it doesn't seem as bad as getting hit with the club over and over again. So
That's what I'm saying. And the thing is, too, is I didn't even know Abby was supposed to be that she was buffing the game until Taku showed me last night, and I was like, well, that would have totally changed how I viewed her character because
yeah.
I'm like, okay. She's like, like I can't lie. Like those were lethal blows. Like he did end up dying, effective, whatever. But I'm like, you literally, like, I could blow you over, whew, and you just fly away. Like I'm surprised she didn't blow over off the horse in
Ooh.
the freaking blizzard because like I'm supposed to be threatened by you. And this isn't body shaming. I'm just for the sake of the story.
This
Like,
isn't body shaming.
just I want to be clear. Like
Yeah.
we're supposed to be scared of her.
Yeah, that's why
She's supposed to be tough.
I think the torture scene should have been more brutal to kind of emphasize that she hurt Joel really badly, as opposed to like, oh yeah, I just punched him a few times with my noodle arms, you know? It
Right, that's
just it
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
hit
It's
the
like
same.
I wish they like I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like she is who she thinks she is. It's like you are trying so hard to be this like really tough, really, really whatever character, and it's like you're a sad little girl who lost her daddy. And I get like at the core that is who she is, regardless of her physique, regardless of how she presents herself. That is what's going on here. But at the end of the day, like golly, sell it to me a little. I want to be a little scared. I'm just rolling my eyes at you.
Yeah.
Right.
To answer Mandy's question real quick, does Giggles know anything about what happens next in the game? She does not. So anything that did not happen in
I'm
HBO did
totally
not
blind.
happen. So, yeah, we got to be very careful about what we say or allude to for future events. But so yeah, anything about what we haven't seen about any of the characters, any ways that they develop, let's try to avoid speaking too much on where things are going for certain characters or whether they become likable or unlikable or how much screen time they even get, stuff like that. Got to be a little careful there, just so Giggles can go in as blind as possible. And Dark says, I don't want to be a part of the WLF group, have this little girl trying to discount Uchiha clan member going to restore my clan. Hmm. I don't know. To me, I'm actually on the opposite end. I think that Abby's. Oh, is my car not working? No. Oh, never mind. We're good. So, I think that Abby. I actually really like the casting for Abby. I do wish she was buffer because I feel like that adds to her character and her story. But aside from that, I think that when it comes to acting, to me, she's spot on. When it comes to voice, she is like very close to the original. When it comes to mannerisms,
her fucks when she says fuck, I was like, that's actually really close to
yeah,
how Abby says fuck.
yeah, her mannerisms are very spot on. I feel like she can be a little bit like I can see where Giggles might be kind of like cringed by the acting, but to me it actually makes sense for her character. Like when it comes to her monologue, to me it comes across as rehearsed, but that's also kind of the point because a lot of this is just my speculation, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, but I mean, she's been wanting this moment for like 5 years, right? So surely she's been thinking about, if I had that moment, what would I say? And she would have time to monologue in her head about what she was going to say. And so when it comes out sounding like she's reading off a script, I think it makes sense, because in a way she is
Right.
in her
That does
mind.
make sense. Right. And she's like, I've been waiting so long. And then, like Mandy said, Joel cut her off, and
And
I was like, I guess, yeah, she was practicing. 'Cause I'm like, you were practicing.
I think another bit of in her defense, I feel like she wants to be threatening. Whether or not she is or is not is a completely different story, but I think she wants to be threatening to kind of give payback, or kind of exude or display try to give Joel the fear and the helplessness that she felt, you know, for what she went through. I think she's trying to get there. I don't think she is very threatening, at least in the show. But I can definitely see, to me, it's like, it doesn't work, but I think that's also kind of the point. It doesn't it doesn't take me out of it. I'm like, I don't see Caitlin Denver as a bad actor doing a role. I see her playing a character playing a role, if that makes sense.
That makes
Right.
sense. No, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Oh, it's just hard for me to just like, oh, it's annoying.
Yeah. I can totally agree. Also, I wish I knew how to honk my horn. I'm trying to get these zombies together. I don't remember. H? Oh, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
E
makes
is to get
sense,
out.
Mandy, with the no monologue
It's
works
Q.
when we had no context.
Yeah,
Oh,
I do wish that she didn't do the monologue. But
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where, like, if she was to just not do that at all, then it's like you'd kind of have to scrap out, like, all the bits of context that we've been receiving throughout most of
yeah, and
show.
the show is very like tell don't show, and that's something that I don't. I understand that it's
Yeah.
more digestible for like a wider audience, but in a way it
I don't
kind of
like
takes
that.
away.
I don't like it when shows do
It's like Abby should just kind of make Joel suffer, not be like, I want to make him suffer, you know? I feel like that should be
yeah.
clear enough without her having to say it directly, you know? So, but, I mean, Mandy says she's fine with the monologue. I kind of wish it wasn't there, but at the same time, the monologue isn't out of place. I can't remember it happening in the game, but I'm very sure like that monologue did happen at some point, regardless of whether
Abby
you
does
see it.
have like a little speech for sure, but it's definitely like not as longly held or as like dramatic. It's just kind of like, hey, you know, fuck you. We're gonna go ahead and do this
Right.
now.
Right. Oh, and Mandy
She
says
def tries to give the monologue in game. It's just, yeah, it's not as dramatic.
Yeah.
Or long.
Mandy says, you stupid old man, you don't get to rush this in the game. I was looking forward to hearing her say that, and she didn't say it. That was kind of disappointing.
She did
Yes,
say
she
it.
did.
I think she said you don't get to rush. She didn't say it in the same way though. If she did say it, I didn't catch it.
It was the same line, but yeah, yeah.
She did, bro. No, she didn't. Sure.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Bro, I was
she
there.
said
Damn.
it.
I was in the
I
room.
literally just watched it an hour ago.
Yeah. I just.
No, I was in the room.
Damn.
It probably didn't hit the same for you.
Yeah, maybe
Which-
that's what it is.
Fair.
Just doesn't hit the same. I don't know, man. Go rewatch it. I think I'll have to.
I do wonder, like, when and how is Ellie gonna find out about what actually happened at the Firefly headquarters? I'm like, is she gonna find out through Dina? Like when Joel and Dina were on patrol, were they talking and did he like tell her everything? Or is she gonna find out in some other roundabout way, like from
Nobody
the
confirm or
remaining
deny this,
Firefly?
but go on.
Yeah, that's just that's for you to discover. I'm actually curious as to how they'll do it for the show. To be honest, I'm wondering if they're gonna hit the same beats or with like how things are kind of different now. What they're gonna do.
Yeah, they've done a lot of
Man.
Changes.
Yeah, this the other thing is that in the game the attack on Jackson doesn't happen.
Yeah, no.
That entire like the entire like infected attacking Jackson thing, it doesn't happen in the game. That one
That was pretty cool to watch.
it was very cool. I like that they added it a lot. I think it was just I remember watching like the ending thing where like the directors are talking about it and how they wanted to add suspense to that moment. And I think it was an excellent, or maybe not suspense, but a sense of like helplessness or like everybody's in danger, you know? Adding that to the story, I think that was an excellent choice. I don't know how I feel about Tommy not being there though. Because I can kind of see that ultimately everything kind of happens the same. But I don't know. It being Dina instead of Tommy is a choice that I'm kind of on the fence about. Like I do like that Tommy got his own like moment in Jackson, but it also means that he doesn't have a moment with Joel. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna catch up. Let's see.
Yeah, what Dark said. It's I don't know how to feel about it, although it is like probably the most interesting change the show has done with that whole hive mind thing. It's really cool and has like the potential to probably bring the most interesting changes to the show when it comes to just like anything infection related.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will say I very much hope they do not bring that to the game though. I do not think I do not think the show should be impacting what the game
The
world's
only
logic.
reason they ended up doing that is just because they knew that it would be so much more difficult to have like really emotional scenes with the logic of like, because the logic of that in like a show where reality is just a little more grounded than a game is that you'd have to just be wearing gas masks all the time. Like there wouldn't be some sort of like, oh yeah, it's safe here but not safe here. It's like, no, it's spores, dude. Like you're not going outside without a gas mask. It's not even a maybe. And so they knew that if that was the case, it would be really hard to just do any sort of dramatic scenes and emotional scenes while everyone's wearing a gas mask. So
Right.
they just redid it entirely.
Right. I like how they do the infected in the show, but I'm still kind of I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know. It's hold on. Sorry, I'm getting kind of distracted.
I'm trying to think. Was it spores in the first one, or is that just a game thing?
That's just a game thing. It's always been these like vine sort of things.
Okay. Yeah, because there was this one really gross thing that I remember, and I forget her name, but it was one of Joel's friends. It was a woman his age, and when she like got infected, I don't know if like one of the infected kissed her or like
oh
what.
yeah. Like
What happened with that again? Yeah, and I was like, how that, first of all, that was so gross to me. I was like, this is vile. But also, I was like, okay, that wasn't a bite. So
no, I think she just succumbed to it, and because it was like so calming and there wasn't any actual like fight back, the plant just did its thing and like found a fucking dark crevice to put its seed into. Yeah.
that
Sorry.
was a crazy way to say that.
Sorry.
Dark trying to put your seed in.
Sorry.
Not the little. Sorry. Whoopsie.
Oops.
Here I go
messed
again.
up.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's funny. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So in the game then, you're like the whole world, you just can't breathe outside. Is that what it is?
Well, no, because in the game, it's like you'll have sections where it's like, oh, there's spores in the air, like you should put your gas mask on, sort of thing. But it's
Oh.
like they just knew that if they were to do that within like grounded reality of a show, they were just like, nah, like, nah, it's spores. Like reality would be that you just would never take off your gas mask. Like
Okay.
you wouldn't fuck around with that.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Man. I don't remember everyone in Abby's troop's name, but who's that one dark-haired dude with like he got a little mustache and a little goatee looking thing. He was like
In Abby's
kicking
group?
Ellie.
Oh, Manny.
Yeah,
Manny.
Manny. Can't
Yeah.
stand the guy. I am afraid of him. I'm fearful of him. He's gonna do something really bad in the future, and I don't know what.
You yeah.
Blix
I
is
gonna
like,
say
don't
how
like
do
anything.
him.
I navigate this?
Yeah, I'm just not even gonna say anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no need to
He gives me
confirm
the
or
heebie-jeebies.
You should have every right to be fearful. You don't know what this person's up to, and he acted quite crazy when he got threatened, got
Mm-mm.
slashed at. You know,
uh
Man, I'm like,
Mandy.
what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? Is the guy Owen the main leader guy?
Owen's like pretty much sort of second in
Second in
charge if
command
you
or
were to put
whatever?
anybody in charge, but that group's kind of just like pretty ragtag. But yeah, you could probably
Hmm.
put Owen like second in charge next to Abby.
Okay, I like him.
mhm.
Yeah.
I have hope for him.
I can't wait to see what you think about. Like, they're all like, they're all like. When I say great characters, I mean just like well-written characters. Like they all have a
Yeah.
lot of depth to them. So I'm excited to see like what you think about all of them.
Oh
Mhm.
boy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm also so excited to find out what Giggles thinks.
How many episodes were in the last season? I don't
I
remember.
think there was about 8. There's gonna be 8 for
This
this season as well.
Yeah, but I think this second part, from what I've heard, I'm not sure if this is still true or not, but they're gonna split it between 2 seasons.
Well, of course they
I thought
are.
they were considering
Yeah.
2 or 3, but
I mean,
Poor
part
dude.
two's a lot. It's a
yeah,
lot of info.
part 2 definitely has like the substance to last for. I think 3 seasons is kind of pushing it, but you can definitely
Yeah.
do 2 for sure.
Mm,
You could easily do 2.
I'm
3
just concerned
is kind of rough,
how
but you could
they're
easily
gonna
do 2.
like. I
Oh,
don't
and
want
good
them
night,
to
Can
Appy.
I ask when?
Good night, Appy.
reveal
Thanks for joining us tonight.
information just super handholdy the entire way through, though. I'm just gonna be like really annoyed by
Mhm.
that. I mean, realistically, I guess it can't really do too much more handholdy. It's like it's kind of like all the main beats to the worst things have kind of already been like done at this point. No, there's still other stuff.
Ruh-roh.
I don't know. I
Ruh-roh.
just really hope they're not handholdy about all this.
Mm.
Or just like, I don't know. It's just like, it's weird because it's like, I'm coming from the perspective of a video game, so I already know what to expect. So it's like, whenever they shove information down my throat, then it's like, well, I know that this is related to like a future event. It's like, and then I always get upset when it's just like, why did you like shove this down my throat? Why did you do that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I get the best viewing experience because I am so completely clueless.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. they really should keep you in the dark about a lot of stuff, but they
I know that's why I'm trying. Oh, go ahead.
nah, I don't remember what I was gonna say.
I'm so sorry.
It
How dare you?
sorry, it's kind of I'm trying to be entertaining and play the game as well.
Don't worry about being
But
entertaining. Just
yeah,
forget it.
I feel like they so I I was watching somebody talk about The Last of Us 2 last night, and he was saying that like the moment that Joel dies was the moment that he
Yeah.
put down the game and did not come back to it for a straight year until
That
he was like
wow.
ready to come back
Yeah.
to it.
I mean, I had
And
a close friend of mine who, like, I remember he played the game and, like, I had beaten it at that point. I was, like, in love with it.
mhm,
And, like, they were just straight shit talking Last of Us Part 2 for, I think, like, 4 or 5 months.
mhm.
Like, since the game had released. And then, yeah, like, afterwards, they had picked it up again and played it, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is like the best game ever created. I'm in love with it." And I'm like, "Yeah, you idiot. Why did you drop it for that long?" But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, some people get a very big emotional reaction.
Yeah, I think what they
I get
tried
it.
I think what they tried to do, because in the game you have no context for Abby, it just kind of happens with Joel. And
Hmm.
I think what they tried to do is they tried to pad the moment by attempting to
Yeah.
give you empathy for Abby early on so that the
Hmm.
death doesn't bother you as much, and you're also already invested in learning about the character. Uh,
Or at least it doesn't sucker punch you as
yeah,
much as the game does.
to me they should have kept the sucker punch because it just like I get what they were going for, like they want you to be invested in Abby early on, whereas the game gave you no real reason to be invested in Abby. But I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting because I want to ask the both of you this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Having played the games and knowing everything, do you think you have the potential for your mind to be swayed? Like if depending on how they tell the rest of the story this season, like do you think you could potentially see it going like, okay, I actually can see why they gave us this information this early on? Or are you like a purist, like where you really feel like they should be as accurate to the game as possible?
I don't even think it's more like I want them to be as accurate to the game as possible. I just think the choices that they've made are definitely for safety reasons and not for like, oh, these are just like, we're just like kind of trying to come up with something a little more interesting just with artistic creativity here. It's like it's very much just it reeks of executives being like, "No, we're not going to write it like this because we're not going to lose audience members." Like it reeks of it, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, sure, but like I still gonna enjoy the show regardless. I don't know. I
Mhm.
think like the impact of the story is also due to the fact that like something really emotional kind of comes out of nowhere, and yeah, it might make you just drop the game for an entire year and then you'll come back to it, but like that's you know
Mhm. Azur
Hmm.
says the games are allowed to do that because you already paid $60, lol. But the show doesn't have that time, nor does it have the luxury to know your audience won't run away.
I think the
I
show
agree.
has the time. The show definitely has the time. It's more just executives being scared to lose audience members. But the show definitely has the time.
I
The show has, like,
mhm,
if they wanted to drag it out to 3 seasons, let's say,
mhm,
and make it like 20 hours worth of content, they could do so.
mhm.
And if we were talking like box office numbers, um, then I guess it would be kind of a different story because then it has to go to theaters and like people have to buy tickets but it's like it's a streaming service, it's a streaming platform, and so they're already kind of like it's more like a bunch of executives bought the game that hasn't been made yet, and so they're going to go ahead and tell like how the game has to be made so that they can just like guarantee people keep their subscriptions. But I don't know. Like it's like if you want to make Last of Us, you're gonna have to. I mean, either way, it's like for a lot of the audience that's watching it, they haven't played the game, so it's like there's not really any major loss. I think it's just for like fucking nerds like me who are just like, but.
Well, going back to Giggles' question about what was the exact question again, Giggles? It was kind of like, would you kind of like trust with that you feel better about their choices or something like that?
Yeah, like, do you think you could potentially have your opinion swayed depending on
Yeah,
how the rest of the season is told?
yeah. I wanted to answer that question because I do feel that the game, to me, the executive, or maybe not exec, I don't see it so much as like the executives are trying to change the story. Um, to me, I feel like a lot of the decisions, especially when it comes to season one, a lot of the decisions have been in favor of. It kind of feels like if like Neil Druckmann, the guy that is directing the game and the part of the show, basically, to me it feels like him kind of having the chance to revisit something and be like, how could I change this in a way that's not only more adaptable for television, but also how could I make this scene better in some respect. Like when it came to I can't remember the name of the brothers in season one, but the younger brother being deaf, right? He wasn't deaf.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't deaf in the
Yeah.
game. That was specifically for the TV show. And normally I don't like when games or when shows based on games deviate from the source material. But the change that they made was to further emphasize the younger brother's dependence on the older brother. And to me, that was a change that benefited the story
Really worked
a lot.
Yeah.
And also with Bill, for example, showing Bill's love life as opposed to kind of meeting Bill after everything has already happened. I feel like that was also in service to the story. So to me, I feel that the change with revealing so much about Abby early on, I don't particularly like the choice, but I don't think it reeks of executives overstretching. I feel like to me, I would assume it's something that Neil Druckmann thought was a better idea, being that Abby was so polarizing and caused people to leave. And I think Neil Druckmann wanted to avoid that by kind of giving you a hint of a little more about Abby's character early on to get you more invested in her character. To me, it's still a bit of a misstep, but I'm not really super bothered by it. I don't think it was like done maliciously. I just think it was just a bit of a misstep. But I think going forward, to me, I'm not like super bothered. I wouldn't say it needs to win me over because I'm not really like put off by the decision that was made. I would have done it differently, but I can see what they were going for. I just don't think they fully hit the impacts they wanted to hit because they played it so differently. So.
Okay. Interesting. So I want to ask you another question. Only, I guess, just for the season thus far, I want to know if you did have to make deviations from how it was told, both from the game and how it was told, like in the show. What would you change and tell differently?
Can you ask that one more time?
Like,
If the story had to be told differently from both the show and the game, like what elements would you personally change so far?
Oh God, I think from the game, I mean, I don't know. There's not a whole lot
The
that I
game's
would change
perfect.
about the
The
game.
game's perfect.
I
The game's perfect.
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I
I was
don't
wondering if that's how you
really.
guys felt.
I only have like little things that are like quirks to me that have absolutely nothing to do with the narrative, and it's just like, um,
Mhm.
I'm not even gonna say it out here, but hold on, I'm just gonna message it to Taku, so he knows what I'm
Weird.
talking about.
Mhm.
Um,
Hold on, let me see.
that I would probably change just because like for
Oh,
some moments where you're navigating through levels, I'm like, this is
yeah.
weird, but like. Um, yeah, no, I really have no like problems with the story for the game itself. I think, yeah, I don't know. I think I really would just, I really would have just made the show gut punch the audience as much as the video game audience was gut punched. You know, that's it. That's all I would do.
Okay, so you
But a
wouldn't make any
lot of
change.
Yeah, I mean, it's like because I kind of agree with what Taku said. Like season one, I think worked so much better. And again, I mean, I don't think I was like in love with season one. I really enjoyed it, but I really think I'm more coming from the point of view just like the game already told the story really well. I don't really think the series is like a complete necessity, but on the things that they do expand on, it's really fun and like worthwhile, and like the changes are interesting, and yeah, like there's a whole lot to gather from that from time to time.
Mhm.
Beyond that though, I'd say like the only drastic changes from season 2 that really came were like the whole showdown with Jackson.
Yeah, that was a
Which
huge deviation.
yeah, massive. And I thought that was really interesting. Um, and of course, like, kind of expanding on everything with Joel back home, you know, he's going to therapy, things like that. Like, that's really cool. But, the other things that they expand upon with Abby, where it just really feels like a kind of, they're providing some pillows for a situation that's like, no amount of pillows is really gonna provide comfort. You're giving me pillows for like a bed of nails here, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like I don't really think this is gonna work too well. Um, but like I don't know. Like that's not really even expansion because that's still stuff that you would have learned anyways.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like a reframing of patchwork storytelling where instead of getting like the patches later, you're getting them now. And you know, I'm gonna be a little complaining Nancy about it.
Yeah. I
Okay, I see.
I agree. Um,
So, Taku, you wouldn't make any changes?
no, I hold on, I just think I just got spotted. I would make some changes, but uh shoot. As always, I have something in my mind and then it's just gone by the time my
Right.
mouth's ready to open. Hold on.
I'm yapping too
I think
much. I'm sorry.
I've riled up the zombies just now. Let me find somewhere to hide. Okay. So, what would I change?
What would Taku change?
What could I change? I would definitely, for the TV show, I would have it a bit more like the game. I don't think they should not have done anything to humanize Abby in the show
Mm.
thus far. They did not in the game. I think it works for the game's benefit that they don't. And I think that the show makes a misstep in humanizing her very early on.
Hmm.
To me, she's not. When you first meet her, she's not meant to be humanized. She's meant to be. This is the enemy. She is the bad person, the antagonist. I hate her, and I think that the show loses a lot of that hate because you've humanized her already. Maybe you might be irritated with her, or whatever, but to me, she's humanized way too early. Um, and it also, in humanizing her kind of early, it also kind of loses a bit of that like impact. I mean, like you were saying, Giggles, about just kind of like not really liking her, regardless of what her motivations are. Um, I think they kind of misstepped there.
Mm.
um, what else? Joel's Joel's torture. I would have made that more brutal. I think it
Oof.
emphasizes Abby's character more. Um, they did a good job, but it wasn't like a 10 out of 10 job. To me, they did like an 8.5, but all they needed to fix was how brutal it was. Um, I think it goes to show more of Abby's character and how brutal it was. And by kind of dumbing it down, it it's like, yeah, you killed Joel, but it's not really as bad as it could have been, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
you killed Joel, but
Crazy.
like, did you
Hmm.
though?
well, yeah, well, it's like it the more brutalized Joel is, the more you can feel Abby's hate, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And just being like, oh yeah, he's getting beat up by her tiny fists. It's like it's not as bad as what happens at the game, you know. Um, so I would have changed that as well. Um, what else?
You know, it's weird because it's like if they really wanted to go down that sort of expansion
Mm,
route. Instead of like humanizing her, I would have loved to just seen like, yo, who's this really angry chick over here? Like, and why is she so angry? You know?
yeah, I
And
think
still just let that be a mystery for me. Like, I would have loved that.
yeah, and I think the game does an excellent job of that, and that's just something that's missing from the show. The show doesn't leave any mystery for that. They explain it to you.
Hmm.
They don't really elaborate a whole lot on it, but it's explained enough that you already understand where her character's coming from. Um, but yeah, Mandy says Taku wanted Joel to be more brutalized. Yes. Azur says, "Sir, yes." Not because it's not because I don't like Joel. It's not because I like seeing that kind of thing. It's what it added to the story. It's
You know what's weird though, because it's like I agree with you and I don't, in the sense that like the torture wasn't brutal enough. I
mhm,
think it was. I really just want to say it like came down to the direction of both of those scenes. Like
yeah,
the video game, because I think like we get pretty much the same amount of airtime when it comes to like I'm pretty sure the show even has more airtime of Joel getting beat up.
mhm,
Um, but the game just has that like that atmosphere. It's dank, it's decrepit, it's a dark
yeah,
room, and like and yeah, I guess definitely for um how it's shot and like what you see and what you don't. Um
right.
it feels a lot more like
So
ugh.
yeah,
You know,
going off of that, sorry to respond to everybody. Azura says Taku so desensitized to torture a little bit. Mandy says giving away her motivations changes nothing. She straight up tortured a man, drew it out, beat the poop out of him. Takes a monster to do, I feel like. So I don't know if it's going to change much for people. They're still going to hate her. And I think the reason the game impacted so much is because we don't know her motivation. So that's what would have changed, needed to change. He was plenty brutalized for
Okay.
my taste. In the brutalization, I feel is a essential part of Abby's expression of her character. I think that the same thing is missing from the actress Caitlin Denver. She's not Dever something. Anyway, she's not buff, right?
Yeah,
I
know,
feel like
yeah.
in the game, her being buff, it visualizes for you, like
Oh,
how.
this hurts. Like this actually really hurts, even though it's like the same
Well, no,
weapon and
no.
same.
It just look aside from the torture, looking at Abby, you can tell that there's something that motivates her. She is she essentially builds herself up into like a war machine by how she feels inside, and I feel like that's kind of expressed in how she looks.
It's weird too, though, because it's like there's those kind of things that you can't really get from a medium besides a video game, where it's like,
Yeah,
Abby, like you're big and burly, but you're literally going around like killing enemies with your bare fists, whereas in contrast to Ellie, where it's like you're mostly using a knife.
right.
There's like a huge difference there, and it kind of leaves that impact where it's like the show, I think that's what I meant by like maybe having some expansion on Abby, where it's like showing her being pissed off, like training, doing anything that's like kind of shows her physical capabilities. But like, yeah, it's it's one of those things where they, for the script, they didn't think it was really important for her to be physically big, so
Well,
they're going a different way with it.
it's it her being big is part of what's missing. The
Oh
I
yeah.
think it comes down to the show don't tell kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Her in the game, it's very much like, yeah, she's her being buff is separate from the torture. This is a separate topic. I think that her
Right.
being buff is, it shows the kind of the pain she feels inside in the same way that guys get sad and they hit the gym.
Yeah.
It shows something that they feel has motivated them to turn into this, to put their, you can see the kind of like the ambition and the drive she has based on how buff she is, right?
Right.
And that makes
Um,
sense too, is because go ahead.
And when it comes to the torture scene, I feel that the lack of brutalization shows no drive, or it shows less of a drive. It doesn't show me her hate. She hated him enough to kill him, but she didn't hate him enough to smash his head in. And I think that, to me, the final in the show, the killing blow comes from kind of like the pointy end of a golf club. In the game,
I-
it comes from the club just like splattering his brains everywhere.
I don't know.
Now,
I feel like I'd like to argue. I'd like to argue that you probably have a feeling that the brutalization doesn't really hit for you, and I think it's just because there's that lacking element for like her physicality. Because I think it's
not
like all in all, like it is kind of in that same tier of brutal, like maybe in terms of like the direction and all that, or maybe like how she killed him. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I think I think in all the things lacking, it's like you're kind of just seeing somebody's sort of um well, one, like an ambiguous character who you don't really know much about just kind of coming into frame, but they're like this big, really pissed off thing coming at like your daddy beloved and just murdering them in cold blood. Um I don't know. Like I guess because it's like that. I mean, it's like either the club to the head or the 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 pointy end through the neck. They're both like pretty up there. you know?
Yeah, and I feel like this is from my perspective. I'm gonna make a broad generalization.
Mhm.
I feel like gamers can be quite masochistic. I think that
Hmm.
y'all like to suffer.
Yeah,
You love this
100%.
so bad.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Oh yeah.
And TV audiences don't like that. Like we like predictability. We like when we can tell where something is going. We want to feel comfort. We can be curious. We don't need everything like like spelled out for us, but like we don't necessarily like the feeling of being disturbed. And I think that is quite often like in games like a mechanism of storytelling. It's just like being very disturbing to show what a character is feeling, what they're thinking, experiencing, their perspective. And like in television, when you're trying to appeal to like a broader audience, like
Mhm.
to really to maintain viewership, but to still uphold like the integrity of the story, you can't just be splattering brains on TV and expect the same viewership 2 weeks from now. Like I think that's why psychological thrillers, I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like psychological thrillers are a much more popular, generally speaking, for like a more popular like genre of film than like horror movies are. Not everybody likes horror. I don't like horror.
Mhm.
I like feeling scared or like I don't know what's gonna happen in like a thriller, but I don't need to see someone's like entrails spread across the room 30 feet. Like I don't need that to like
I
to
mean, I think like half of the player base for Last of Us Part 2 would agree with you. Like so many people quit that game and still to this day like shit talk that game consistently because of how it made them feel. So it's like,
really.
yeah, oh yeah, there's a huge hate base for it just because of like how tough that story is, and a lot of people just sort of like, of course there's like plenty of things to kind of nitpick about it, but like most people just felt cheated because their favorite fictional character got beat over the head with a golf club. Um and yeah, it's like I don't even know how many years since the game came out, and like people still hate it, hate
That
it.
makes sense because I just the way you and Taku were talking about it, I was like, okay, so this has like almost a cult following. Everyone loves this game. It had really high expectations for like the show adaptation, which is why I feel
Hmm.
like they kind of rely more so on like, I mean, you got actors. Yes, you have voice actors, but like I feel like a lot of the work behind a game is being put forth with like the actual game development, and voice acting is just like an element. Versus when you have like TV actors, like they are the story. So like
Hmm.
I feel like it's more like dialogue heavy to like, Abby has to say, "I hate your guts. I waited so long for this," versus just like clobbering him because it's like they're relying on like dialogue to like convey the vitriol she
Well,
feels towards him versus like just the
because I
beating.
mean, like for the game itself, if you were to just take away all the sequences where it's like you're not talking, or like, okay, let's say if you were to, yeah, pretty much just taking away all the sequences where you're just in combat with NPCs, just you know, computer enemies that like are just there for the challenge and they're not really providing much story, and you just had the cutscenes, you'd still be looking for like part one and part two combined, maybe like 30 to 40 hours of cutscenes. Like
Mm.
there's a lot of story going on. Um, so it's like, even in the case, and that's kind of why I still feel the way I feel, where I'm like, yeah, like this series, like it's cool for anybody who hasn't played the games and wants to be introduced to the story, but like all in all, it's like the story's already been told for me. Like this is just, icing on top of this really fucking fantastic cake. Um I I really think like season one kind of shined the most, where it was just expanding and sort of like rethinking of scenarios, like the Bill and Frank episode. If you ever get to that part in Last of Us Part One, you'll see it's entirely different. Um, but yeah, like I don't know. season 2 doesn't like, besides like I said, like the show, it's really not even like breeding new bits of information for Abby. It's just kind of rewiring the way things are told, where
Mm.
things are like told a little earlier on, which is like, yeah, it's like, I mean, for the most part, that's why I think Game of Thrones worked so well, is because you had these gut punch moments where like your favorite characters just died out of nowhere. And yeah, some people were really pissed off, and some people just like left the show completely. Like my best friend stopped watching the show for like a season or two, but then still came back to it because it was Game of Thrones. It was really well done. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I I'm excited to see what they do with the rest of it. I hope they come up with some really cool changes. But Giggles, you gotta get down and get through the games. I mean, hell, I'll
Oh, I
play it
know. I
again.
know.
If you want like an audience member, if you want an audience member and just watch it through while like I play the game, or Taku plays the games, like do that. But it's super worthwhile.
Games just stress me out so bad. Too
Yeah.
much responsibility.
That's the thing though, like Last of Us Part 2 really works because you're being held responsible for everything that's going on. Um, there's some moments in Last of Us Part 2 that I genuinely just have not seen in any other game that really, like, you're just mashing square, right? And you have never felt so just emotionally conflicted over a button mash experience. You are simply
Mm.
mashing square and you're like, oh my god, I am feeling all sorts of horrible in the pit of my stomach. Yeah, no other video game has been able to do that for me since. I highly recommend it.
Well,
Oh, think
on that
about it.
note, I'm lagging really hard, and we're like 30
Oh.
minutes over time.
Oh,
I
yeah,
gotta go. But
fair.
feel free to continue your discussions. I gotta go to sleep. But thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you to
Of course.
Appy, Mandy, Azor, Giggles, Dark, K Scott, KNS, thank you for the raid. Koi, thank you for the resub, and thank you for joining us today. And Kitsune, thank you for such wonderful stories, and thank you to Grizz as well. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I gotta go to sleep. I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna hop out the Discord. But yeah, I gotta go to sleep. Sorry, guys. I had a really
No,
poor
you're
night's
good,
rest
you're
last
good.
night, but I drank coffee at like 7 p.m. last night. It was not a very smart move, but I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Wednesday, Project Zomboid. Friday, Dark Tide.
Boom shakalaka.
Add Bluxy.
Boom shakalaka.
Dark Tide.
Okay.
But
Dark
yeah,
Tide on Friday.
all right.
I'm off that day, so.
I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Shall we raid out?
Yes, who's doing something?
Nobody. Nobody I know,
Oh.
anyways.
Love that.
Well, damn it.
Mm.
Well, anyways, yeah, guess we're ending here. Have a wonderful night,
Gotta
everybody.
find some more somebodies out there. So
Yeah, I've
that
been
you can ride
trying,
out
but
more.
I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard.
It really is. It really is hard. I keep trying. I can't find anybody, dude. Hold on. Let's see if
We'll get
anybody
there.
is. Nobody's really looking interesting to me. It's fine. We're just gonna end here.
Well,
Okay.
in the future. In the future.
In the future, yeah. But thanks, guys, for joining me. Oh, Jay's.
course.
Hold on, Jay's streaming.
Mhm.
I didn't know
Oh.
Jay was going. Let's do it.
Who?
Jay?
J_VT.
You think I said? I said Jay. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful time in Jay's stream. Can't believe I'm not subbed to, or following Jay. But yeah, have a wonderful night, everybody. Thanks for joining me.
Good night,
Good
guys.
night, everybody. Good night.